We gotta give honors what honors is due, draw.
Alhamdulillah.
To all the black stones around the world, the ones that put us in tune with the five highest principles known to man.
Wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah.
The ones that got us righteous out here.
Wa ala alihi.
The ones that laid the foundation.
Wa ashabihi ajma'in.
The ones that got us study the Holy Quran of Muhammad.
Wa min tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin.
And the circle sets for red, law and the draw.
Black stone. I don't know you, I can't tell you nothing. Can't even discuss it. We can't even demo pins and buttons. Got these schools on pins and needles. The leadership of the people. The king brought the ghost to the booth. It's finna be so, finna be so, finna be so righteous. We sit right straight in the highest prince, the highest known to men. Asiatic, where you be heard, they been looking for you, brother, for HQ and H-Town. But I'm from 3600, it's a motherfucking building. Doors and high stores and high clothes everywhere. Don't come around here just instead to be alive, to be aware. Make your 360 a square. You gon' see some press a lot. Free sheets and free bay out. I'm from the ghost crew. The two reapers named Love and Truth. Word of mouth is nothing to us. They gotta bring some proof. 808 to get a straight vibration off that drum steel. 278, it is finished. Done deal.
Cause all these niggas be looking for false, they stay on their nose. I demonstrate this in the raw, right over left what you saw. Holy Quran of Allah, the seven of literature. If you gon' see how we draw, this on the feet, and nigga we heavily mean. The thought is the cause of it all. Salute to the chief, the reason I'm pushing the beast. 75th over east, paradise deep in the streets. Be everything that Allah invested in me. It's 60 degrees, don't mean multiply by the two. Don't mean that they better than me. My family tree, we from the Aborigines. Religion, we propagate peace. SJP, I'ma let it be known. The crown, he just came home. I see you soon on stones. Allah hold nothing is on. Blowing the draw, the ship full of bro. Keep 53 be the Garden of Eden. I say alive every time that I'm breathing. Words you living out up with the heathens. Giving them all of my heavenly teachers. Stand on my square, bet your stone I will beat ya. I be an angel, but you see a reaper. I'm from Chicago when niggas will beat you. Don't get out your body, cause I'm for the people. Got so much pride when I'm speaking for us. Turban and feathers and Allah we trust. You know who running, no mystery, son. Black stone, 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 black stones, black stones, black stones, we some black stones, black stones, black stones, we some black stones, black stones, black stones, black stones, black stones, black stones, we some black stones, black stones, black stones, black stones, black stones. You know we know on the drawing in this demonstration. 3600 Ghost Crew, Royal Family, that's 7 sides. Law and the drawing in this demonstration. Infinite spiritual beings. Living according to the five principles known to man. Love, peace, freedom, and justice.
Hey, I'm live. Man. Yeah, man. Shout out to the one person in here. And that's how I like it. 1 or 2 or 3 people. I like it like that. To the few people who see this video, if it changed your life, you know, if you want to ask me questions, I ask questions. And I want to start off by saying a whole lot before I even start the video. Are the Americans the Melecca or Meluhha? You're going to understand what I mean by that. Nasrid Dynasty was Red American Sheikdom in Spain. I'm asking the question. And I honestly believe the Nasrids are some Nashville people. A little different than, it's like America. It's hard to explain. America was already 50 states before the Civil War. They're just colonizing and renaming things. And I believe one of the states that had a stake in Europe and Africa was Tennessee. That's why you have Tunisia. And you have a queen named Queen Kentucky of the so-called Sudan. Queen Kentucky, look it up. I think a lot of the Americans split that land up a long time ago. And I'm asking, was there another Moorish group that wasn't black but red American looking people called the Nasrids. That is critical. Y'all want to learn about them in this video. Hey, shout out to Gabble Gabble. Oh, everything good, man. I'm just maintaining the status quo of the most hated Rise Elite because I got that fire information that's gonna burn up the lies. Because one thing I notice about everybody that be against me, they don't want to debate. I noticed that shit. Even the ones that want to debate, they don't even show up to the debate. They just be calling me names and selling the people these wolf tickets, man. So I'm gonna play this video. I'm actually gonna play 2 videos. I'm gonna play a video about the Meluhhas. Then we're gonna go into brother Abdullah Muhammad, one of the Moors on D Calico channel. I'm gonna let him teach a lesson today. I think that's his name, Abdullah Muhammad. I forgot. I gotta go on D Calico channel. And then we're gonna play the video of the Meluhhas. But before we do that, let's go in. Let's go in. Because I really wanted to turn this into a 3-piece. But I noticed when your titles be all long, that's why your videos don't get shared. When you got them long titles, you got to shorten up your titles, man. That's why YouTube don't share your stuff. Okay, let's go up in here and learn something right quick. Now we got this dude right here. Before y'all seen what I did to Crip Jesus, I beat him up. I beat him up stupid. Just like I beat up Hawk School. There go Crip Jesus. As you can see, I beat him up bad. Bad. Where he looked like he done aged 30 years in 2 days. This how bad he looked. Like he done got old, man. Beat up Hawk School. Beat up Root Words. You know, and went over there and schooled A1. That's what happened. I schooled him. He didn't school me. Because he don't learn from us, the more Science Temple. He went and learned on his own. So I don't know what the hell A1 teach. He learned some shit. He learned some stuff on his own, buddy. So I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. A1 beat me in the debate. Y'all folks on dope. Y'all folks on drugs. They won't even put out the goddamn on Incredible Hawk video. They don't even want y'all to see that, man. I'm talking about I beat that dude so stupid. He might change his life after that debate. But this ain't about that. Let's go up in here, man. Aboriginal TV, this dude. This mentally ill person. That's why I got this channel, y'all, so I can vent out over here. Because, you know, if I get to doing this on my main channel, a lot of nerdy international people, they don't like when I do the black people like this. Now, look at this right here. This dude right here, he went from retirement. He always somebody finna retire. You know, now look at this. He was just finna retire. Let's go back to the live. Where is that? He had a video talking about I'm retiring, why I'm leaving the community. See, he finna retire. He's finna retire. He's leaving the community. This is the dude who brought NFAC. You know, and he's over there harboring another fugitive, Hobart. And dumb Atum Bey, that dumb Moor, and them dumb Dusty Moor. One of them black supremacist Moors. You know, he's harboring all them people over there. He's finna retire. But soon as I put the video saying Crip Jesus proved the Portuguese, the Geechee Portuguese, here he come with the title. Like he's some type of researcher, debater. You know what I'm saying? Like he's known to be debating. Boy, you not no debater. You're a whining African. You are a sub-Saharan Bantu Aboriginal TV. You look like a Bantu. You look just like a Bantu, famo. Let me show you. Nigga look like a damn Bantu. Let me show you what this dude look like. Since we want to do lookership, talking about the Olmecs. You know, y'all want to talk about y'all look like the Olmec. It's in here. I know it is. I know it is. So it might be in my other community. Let me see. I know I said it. And I said it looked like Ab TV. Here it go right here. Now this looked like Ab TV right here. Do y'all feel me? That looked like Ab TV. Nah, I ain't even disrespecting A1, bro. I'm just saying. I'm not even disrespecting A1. I'm just saying I taught him that day. He did not teach me. I'm not finna sit up here and belittle myself. I don't want to say I beat A1 in a debate because it wasn't no real debate like that. And he didn't really come through like that. Like, I don't want to say I beat somebody when it's like, when you beat somebody, you don't want to say you beat them because you beat them. You know how you was on the basketball court and you might do a crossover and dunk on a little shorty, and you're not finna be running around talking about you beat him. Like, nah, man, shorty cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, buddy cool, man. You feel me? So that's what I did, man. A lot of these dudes, they underestimate me, and it come back and haunt them. Man, when they underestimate me. So I retained the title as the most hated of all time. And what I love about my channel, before I go back in on Ab TV, what I love about my channel is there had to be somebody like me back in the day. When they were writing history, rewriting history, there was a hero that don't get talked about. You feel what I'm saying? It's only the people we hear about that want to hoist themselves in front of the spotlight. We hear about them dudes, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all the crisis actors. But we never hear about the dudes like me. The dudes behind the scene. So, okay, let's go back to Ab TV. Now, Ab TV, he literally looks like this. Y'all, I got videos on this dude. I can show you. Ab TV look like this. And that other dark-skinned brother who playing the movies. I forgot his name. He a dark-skinned brother. He was in the X-Men movie in Avengers. And he was Iron Man's buddy. What's buddy name, man? Who Iron Man buddy? The black dude. That's who Ab TV look like, and that's in Egypt. See, Ab TV is Gullah Geechee from Egypt. Then he want to go up here, as you can see. Look, he want to come up in here knowing he from Egypt, and he want to come up in here and rebuttal my video. See, the video wasn't even about you. It was about Crip Jesus, Ab TV. Since you secretly watching my videos or y'all spying on me because you don't want no smoke. Y'all don't want no debate smoke. Y'all stay spying on my whack channel because I'm on the run. I'm running from you goofies. I don't want you watching my channel. I don't want you over here. So I don't know what make you think I'm doing a video on you, Ab TV. I'm proving Crip Jesus is not an American. He's an Arab from Morocco. Now you were just finna retire. Now you talking about Gullah Geechee, y'all Portuguese. Yes, it says it right here. Let's go and get it. It says it right here. It always disappears when I need it, fam. I just had it up here. So you mean to tell me I erased that? I erased it? That is crazy. It might be over here. Let me see. I erased that. Okay, yeah, I erased it. Let's go back. Let's go to Jekyll Island Foundation. And then I'm going to get to these videos. I'm talking about they do not like me, man, because I be on that black supremacy. I be on them Africans. I don't want them over here. Jekyll Island. With all that fugazi trying to cover up my light-skinned people. Jekyll Island Gullah. See, these blacks got put in slavery. Now they want to outshadow us red people. Us reddish people, us red fox looking people, and brother Ronaldo. Now the Gullah Geechee can be found on the South Coast. Geechee refers to those living on the coast. The ancestor of the Gullah Geechee started as enslaved Africans in the 1700s. So when them black Africans got to running over here looking for new wives, we was locking them up because we was like, okay, you ain't supposed to be over here. Today, members of the Gullah Geechee practice ways of 250 years. Okay, let's see. It's something else about them. West African Christians. Okay, Christianity, praise break alive. It says something about some French. Okay, here it is right here. Now, they are a African-based Creole. They are not a native or a Hispanic Creole. The community composed of West African, English, French, and Portuguese languages. So the real Geechee is letting you know they African and Geechee, Portuguese. Here come this big nose dude, Ab TV, trying to act like he ain't from Africa. Look at it, Gullah Geechee are Portuguese. Yes, y'all are from Portugal, fam. Y'all was working on them boats and they was dropping y'all the butts off. They was dropping y'all off to be overseers, plantation overseers. That's all y'all are some plantation overseers. That's it. Some managers. Gullah Geechees are managers. So, okay, now let's move on. I'm not finna, yeah, I'm taking my time. I ain't going nowhere. This is gonna be a long video here. I don't care how many people in here. I'm hurting feelings. My job is to destroy feelings all across the black supremacists, black Moor, black Indian, black Aboriginal. All of these little clowns, I'm at their head. You know why I'm at their head? Because when you look at the Moorish Americans, they always marry Japanese women. You know what I'm saying? They marry, Puerto Rican women, Central American women. So we mix with all them brown women. We're not just no black. Then you want how these blacks running around here trying to act like they the reign supreme. Dude, get up out of here, bro. We is mixed with many nations of brown people. You know what I'm saying? And these black Africans that try to take over the whole thing, man. So let's go get one more before I get out of here. Let's go get him. I think it was D Calico. Let's go get this dude right here, because I know a lot of dudes underestimate me, man. Okay, it's Sheikdom Calico. One on. I forgot. No, it's D Calico. He got another channel. Hold on, I was watching the video early. He got another little channel. Prophet. Sheikdom. Aboriginal. Crib. I know, I was just watching that video, bro. I'm talking about Sheikdom. Okay, where Abdullah Bey. Here it is right here. Now let's get on him. Let's get on his head right quick.
Welcome.
Now this Abdullah Bey, one of them Moors that been around since Tariq Bey, and I'm not hating on them, but a lot of people would think I'm hating on them just because I might put their name in the video. That's how sensitive the Moors is. You feel me? I'm talking about the Moors. They be gods, they be kings, they be Allah. But if you put their name up in the little title, man, them dudes will get in their feelings, man. So anyway, I left a comment up here, and this brother Abdullah, he got kind of offended. He got kind of moist about it, man. So I want to go ahead and go over the. Let me see. I want to go over that. Okay, here it is. See, he going in right here. In his brain, he going in. So let me show y'all what this video was about. He going in. Let's get his voice, though. Let's get his voice.
A trusteeship capacity from a European occupational perspective. And Indian is a British national.
Okay, they read my comments right here, and he's like, so I'm like, okay, Nasrid, he talked about the Nasrid campaign in Spain and Andalusia. Nasrid is the Red Kings, in my opinion, because a lot of Moors are red people. When they're black, they just call them blackamoors or Negroes. That's what they call the black Moors. The Red Kings are what they call the Red Indian, and we had our own supreme civilization they trying to steal from us and cover it up with these African Americans and these black Indians. But we had a supreme red empire that focused on red, brown skin, that focused on being reddish, coppery brown, not black. And in my research, I read a book a long time ago about the Nashville people being a remnant of the bloodline of the so-called Messiah. So the Nasrids, in my opinion, was the Nashvillian kings of Nashville Mayro district, and I'm gonna go over all that. They all have American Spanish names, like El Chiquito. Now, this little comment got him to asking questions talking about what is American slang. So now I'm suspicious. I'm like, what do you mean what is American slang? It's Westerner slang. It's Melecca's. That's why I'm about to go over that in this video. So let's go and get his sound bite first to make sure we know what he's talking about.
In that case, it was stated that an Indian is a British national. I'm going to give you the source. The British removed the H, natural personnel, as if we weren't raised the same way. All of us. All of us. Lineage, descent, consanguinity, nationality, national origins.
They all have American Spanish names too, like El Chiquito.
What's the American name?
Okay, watch this. Hold on, let me get in the chat. Cause like I say, man, this ain't my. Okay, you in Nashville? Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. Everybody mixed, man. Yeah, Calico back online, man. I'm hurting feelings, man. It's getting crazy out here, man. It's getting, boy, Allah not playing. The great mother, the great spirit, the all-seeing eye is not playing. He is putting your information on the chopping block. So I want to get the complete audio first of what he say, then do the breakdown. Because this is my comment. Let's go. Let's go.
On the understanding what a house is, a dynasty, an empire. There's a lack of knowledge there because they're interchanging, right? So I have to do a presentation on this.
Someone said Nasrid is the Red Kings of Nash Villa Mero district. They all have American Spanish names too, like El Chiquito.
What has a name? American Spanish names. American Spanish names.
Hey, listen to this man. Listen to him, man.
American Spanish names too, like El Chiquito.
What's the American name? Let's think. All right, let me stop there. Let's stop there. See what happens now, it's not that because there are misconceptions in the questions, you see how I gotta take time to explain.
Man, hey, I don't even want to do this. I swear I do not want to do this, but it's already looking bad for Abdullah Bey. Like, look at his mannerisms, the way he looking like he's disgusted, like he's the holy grail of information. I mean, I'm telling you, man, these dudes out here, man, I do not want to do this because I know this is one of D Calico's buddies, but nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. You gotta watch what you say to me. You must watch what you say to me because I'm gonna call you out.
What is American name? Like you said, American name. What is that? American name. Is American a language? And that's all right. Names are based in. Let me just slow it down. Let's slow this down. Is American. When they say American name, what do they mean? Before I give my, what do they mean by American name?
I'm waiting on him or her.
Yeah. What do you mean by American name? American name. What?
Well, he or she said American Spanish names.
All right, so you got now. So now you got two, and you're putting together now. You got Spanish. You have American, and you put them together, American Spanish name. So what is an American Spanish name?
He or she has not responded yet.
Right. Names are based in pedigree, ancestry, lineage, descent, consanguinity, nationality, national origin. So what does the person mean by American Spanish name?
Okay, he or she said American lingo and pronunciation, Mexican slang.
American lingo, pronunciation, Mexican slang.
And pronunciation, Mexican.
Wow, we got some misconceptions going on here. All right, I know what's going on.
I'm gonna have to break you down, brother Abdullah Bey. I'm sorry, I don't like the way you reacted. I don't like your gaudiness and your grandiose. Let's say a misconception first. I'm telling you, you got to be careful, man. A view or an opinion that is incorrect based on faulty thinking or understanding. A view or opinion that is incorrect based on faulty thinking or understanding. That's what misconception means, Mr. Abdullah Bey. So I don't have a faulty thinking because I understand that Americans are the ancient race of people they even call Atlanteans, right? You understand what I'm saying? There is a people called the Americans. There is a language called American in America. There is a language called American in America. There is people called Americans with their own lingo. There is American English. There is American English, and we know Spanish comes from America via Hispaniola. Let's go and look it up. Let's go and look it up. And they once had a grip on America, Hispaniola Island. You got to be careful, Mr. Abdullah. This is what happens when you get too old. So now we have a las mayores, Hispaniola, the Greater Antilles. We was just talking about this the other day. La Española is Spanish. So this is where they are from. They are not from Spain. They are from the Greater and Lesser Antilles, the Mediterranean and the Gulf Coast. That is, I'm already making you look bad. I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. And now you understand why a lot of these black supremacists, Pan-Africans, and these black Indians avoid me, because this is the end of their delusion. Now let this man keep on talking because he get more disrespectful.
What's going on here is the everyday social engineering. And let me explain what's going on. The person, like the millions of us, have been raised in constructive language. That's part of the society. So they hear that every day. They hear that American name, Spanish name, lingo. They hear that. That's part of the social engineering. Mm-hmm. So they bring in that here. They're bringing that they were raised in, that we all were, not they. That's all of us. All of us. All of us were raised in. We were all raised the same way. We were all raised the same way into the constructive, language, American name, lingo, Spanish. We were all raised with that. All right.
Right.
So now we're come to this platform with somebody like myself who knows etymology, and we're just trying to clear that up.
His delivery is not fluid and clear enough to legitimize a self-appointed etymology expert. Let's get it right. You can barely say a whole sentence without stuttering, brother Abdullah Bey. You're not looking good. But I want you to go on the record for calling me a person.
Right. I know where the person's coming from. They're coming from
You heard this etymology dude calling me a person, and we know person is property. So he's downplaying my intellect, and I'm starting to assume he might know who I am. He might be one of them Moors who secretly know about PNF because he's acting a little giddy, like Sabir Bey get and Taj Tariq when I come around. So he called me a person, and he's trying to downplay the fact that Americans do have a lingo, and we are the Americans. We are the Americans that colonized West Africa, and we are the Americans that colonized Europe 500 years before we colonized West Africa. Let's look it up. So he's one of these old school Moors caught up in the lore of Mohammedism and Arabism. He ain't understanding that we got our own over here, our own indigenous understanding over here. So we got the Maryland colony and we got us running in Africa. You know, we running in Africa. Maryland colony of Africa. Let's show that. We got the Republic of Maryland and the rest of our Moorish brothers. We had to run over to Africa to handle business right quick. You know, we had to go to Africa to handle business. The Moorish Americans now. See, we went up into Africa, the colony of Mississippi. As you can see it right there. Look, Maryland colony, crew towns. That's those people. The crew are the dark-skinned people with the X on who be having the X on their chest. Those are the Navy people. Mississippi colony. See, we've been in Africa way before the white man. You see that? Brother Abdullah Bey don't know that. He don't know that. So when I'm talking about our American lingo and our Americanisms and our Spanish, see, we have Hispaniola, which is the islands of Dominica, and we have our American up North Americans, and we speak American English. We even speak Creole. That's when we add Latin to it. When it's just English, it's called patois. When you add Latin, it's called Creole. You understand me? So now we got the Creole, which is the Louisiana, that's going to account for our Spanish Latin. Our Hispaniola Dominica. You understand me? Because I'm giving it to us. We went into Africa. We went into Mediterranean. They did not come to us and enslave us, but these black Moors, they will teach you that. These black leaning Moors will teach you that somebody came over here and enslaved you. This in Africa right here, they'll tell you these people slaves. That's what they'll teach you. They're getting enslaved. John Brown Russman, the governor of the Maryland of Africa. And they'll have you thinking he mixed. No, he was one of the red race. He was part of the red race. They don't want you to know a lot of us was brown and red. He was not mixed. There's no such thing as a mixed race because we've been mixing with people forever. So how the hell you gonna be a mixed race? That don't even make no sense. Don't even make no sense. So, you know, that was easy to prove. Now let's go into the Meluhha video. We're going to go into that Meluhha's video. Because I already proved what I want to prove. Matter of fact, let me get the clip on him.
All right.
Abdul
So now we're coming to this platform with somebody like myself who knows
Bey,
you know,
exposed.
and they're
you better
just trying to clear that up.
And hey, the way he looking like he looking like he a supreme teacher too. Hey, he looking like he disgusted too by me saying American lingo. I could never rock with you. It was some always off about his energy when I was younger watching him on YouTube teaching this Moorish nonsense because it's all nonsense to me. When I go behind these dudes who teach this stuff and I do the research myself and I expand my mind, I'm thankful that they introduced me to it. But half the time it's not making any sense. And I'm sorry if I disrespect anybody. So I'm going to come back to the Gullah Geechee, but let's get to this Meluhha video because you're going to love it. Now, hopefully you got your juice. You got your little whatever to sit back and pay attention and take notes. Shout out to Peace. I'm Kiera up in the building. Yeah, it ain't just American English. We're Welsh. We're Welsh people, and Welsh Empire go all the way down to Argentina. You got to understand, Argentina got a large amount of Welsh. Britain got a lot of, Australia have a large population of Welsh people. North America has a large population. We are pre-English. So I want to go into this lesson. This lesson right here may be like 20 to 30 minutes. But it's going to allow us to see who the Americans is, how the East Asians view the old Americans. This is gonna be a head buster right here, and I'm gonna show this man Abdullah Bey exactly what American isms is, what American lingo really is. I'm gonna show him that we went into Mediterranean, we went into Africa as Algonquian and Aztec, and the Hispaniola concept come from us over here. Creole is American. Creole was not created in Africa. Creole was not created in Europe. Creole was made in America. That's going to show you the big business was in America first. So French comes from America because French is Creole. French come after Spanish. That's a fact. That's a fact because the original French was Gaul, right? They were Gaul, Norman. They wasn't speaking just straight up Spanish, Latin that we can comprehend. They were speaking something else. That's why French Latin is the only Latin is the one that is not the same as the rest. I can look at that right now and show you. French Latin is very different from other versions of Latin. But anyway, let's start with this video and pay close attention. This is the Meluhha. I think this is it. This is not it. Is this it? This is it. This is it. Arab Republic. The real pronunciation. Gomhorye, Gomoraye, Mazaril. So Azrael could be stealing from Mazaril, Arabia. You know, they're stealing where they're stealing. I'm trying to get you. I'm trying to get you to wake up. Tibis, Valley of the Kings, North African, Islamized. Okay, I'm out of here on this. Let's go back. Okay, I want to focus on the fact that Mosul is ancient Egypt and Meluhha is Maroria. So we're dealing with Missouri, Illinois. We're dealing with Illinois, Missouri, where Abu Ali said you're from, the ancient name of Egypt, and Meluhha, who is our adjacent civilization. Right? You know, I did that for y'all. Now let's see if we got any more focus on the Melecas. Let's see if we can get a little bit more on that because I'm gonna come back and follow up. I just had to, for the record, to give y'all something to always be able to go off of instead of listening to these folks, and we can go on later. Now let's get their rulers. The rulers of was the Magan, who I believe is the Mayan Caliphate, the Indo-Rome, who would be Romayun, the Latin kingdom of Romayun. Remember? Indus, Mesopotamia, that would be Alabama, South America, and Iraq. Del Moon. I have not located Telemundo, like Telemundo. Buddhism and the Roman world, we have a understanding of Mithraism, sun worship, right, and the Roman connection. And we understand Ro could easily be a nobleman or a king man. So, you know, I think that's it. And we also have the breakdown of the Atlantis. Let's go back to that. Now, Atlantis to me is 3 words, right? The sources, let's look it up. It says, fictional place. It says Atlantis, so it just will be Atlan, out. So that would be outlandish. So you don't want to be Atlantis because you will be outlandish. Let's see what outlandish mean. Outlandish. Looking or sounding bizarre or unfamiliar. Foreign or alien. 3 wise outlandish kings. 3 wise or outlandish queens. Is outlandish also mean freakish and queer. So they stay trapping us with this Freemason nonsensery. I'm telling you. Look at that. Outlandish. Atlantish. Outlandish, Atlandish. Weird. Offbeat. Far out. So when you say Atlantis, you're just saying far out. That's all you're saying. That's all you're saying. You're not saying nothing, particular. You just repeating what they told you, like when they say black and color. That's how they get you. They're cold-blooded at this. They're going to have you looping in circles back to back to back until you define words on your own. They don't have no definite definition for Atlantis. They're just sitting up here saying, I'm an Atlantean, because they don't want to be Moorish, or, they found out Indian mean not mother. They can't be Indian. You can't be Moorish because you hate Moorish. You can't be Aboriginal because that's not a nationality. That's not the name of a mother. Atlantis is not the name of a mother either. So you're not Atlanta. You're not Atlantis. Outland. Outland. That's all it's saying is outland. You're out of the land. They got you. And they just say, I'm saying on European, boy. That's the correct Atlantis, less connected to the caves of Ayanta, who we believe where the Buddhist is depicted, right? You want to go and look at it. Let's say the Ayanta caves. Wow, the Ayanta caves. Now, this is stuff we don't normally see, especially from the Indian community, because they don't have it to show. They'll just mention something about the Grand Canyon and say, well, you can't go in the Grand Canyon. You already know, bro, they ain't letting you in that Grand Canyon, boy. You know what I'm saying? The European, boy. That's all you're going to get. We ain't going to get no evidence and proof that the Indian built anything. It's just going to be the Europeans is stopping you. The European, man, the military over there, man, they said we can't go over there, bro. But, we built it, though, bro. I'm telling you, bro. We were the Buddhists, bro. We were the Egyptian, bro. King Tutnam, you know what I'm saying? All them was over there by the goddamn pyramids and everything, bro. I'm telling you, bro. See, that's their version of explaining. I'm not accepting that. I'm not going. What I'm doing is my own critical research, and it belongs to me intellectually, and people is copy and pasting what I got. Not even copy and pasting it. They rewriting it. They revising my research right after I do it. And these people look like me. So imagine what we're up against. Let's go and see if we can get some good images on one bit. Oh, it don't sound clear. Hold on. Let me straighten that out there. Hold on. Stop screen. I know it's one at Laura Caves. Let's do it here. Ayanta. Okay, let's go ahead. Maybe it might be. Okay, here's some beauties. Now this easily look like the Meluhhas, who live in the hilly areas and the mountain caves. Remember we read that about the Meluhhas earlier? They live and I was going to get to the good part too, where they conquered them, the Antiochus. Let me go back. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get back on that, but I want to keep describing it for y'all. But remember, they described them as living in the mountains, and how they had to come out the mountains to fight. How the king told them to come up out the mountains, come up out your mind. About here it is right here. Dravidian identification with Indus Valley, Melecca, high abode or high country, right? Meaning barbarian. See, they're from the. Hold on. See, when I did the video, I didn't go all the way in, so I'm gonna read it all today. Now, most scholars suggest that the Meluhha or Meluhha was the Sumerian name. Finnish scholars Asko and Simo Parpola identify Meluhha or Meluhha from earlier Sumerian documents with Dravidian Mel-Akam or Melecca meaning high abode, high country, which could mean hilly area, like a mound. Many items of trade, such as wood, minerals, and gemstones, were needed extracted from the hilly regions near the Indus Valley. To further claim that the Meluhha is the origin of the Sanskrit Melecca, meaning barbarian and foreigner. Remember, barbarian and foreigner is the same word. And it's going to go back to the Berbers, who going to be called the Moors. So we got a part of history that's connecting these Berber with the Meleccas, which is another word for Mericas. In their language is Melecca, because they can't talk like us. So they say Melecas, Melecas. In our English, we'll just say Americans. Well, let's keep going. Highlands. They're from the highlands, man. Look at that. The mountains, the caves, and the highlands. Now let's get a look at them. Brown. See, they want you to focus on black. Why do you think Clyde Winters, demented, goofy self, is giving you the truth, but he's always saying black? Because if he says black, you're not going to think these are people. In your brain, these is not your people. Look at what they left behind in the test of time. Look at that dark-skinned brother in the corner. Let's get it. Look at that. They ain't letting me really zoom in. Well, look at that. Look at that. They made sure. Look at these people. We the only people on earth who can say we have Asians. You know, what's the little tennis player name from Haiti? You know, who's she taking on the scene? You know, the little female, the little Asian looking one. We the only people who can say we got Asian Negroes. We the only people who can say we got African-looking Negroes. We the only people who can say we got Indian-looking Negroes, and you got mixed-breed-looking Negroes. Now look at these pictures. Is they mixed-looking people like Mexicans? Look at that Mexican. And niggas. Look at that Mexican. He looked just like a Mexican who ride a lowrider with his little Asiatic wife. Look at this brown one. Look at this, B2K looking dancing dude right here, Marion in the middle. Now look at them two Negroes up top, and look at this brown one, and look at Smokey Robinson when he was young. You see, it's a different looking type. We're not all looking the same. We're together though. The blacks are just the blacks. The whites are just the whites. They're not our people. Like how we always be in the hood, getting along. Now look at the brown people. Let's keep going. This is the people on the Atlanta caves. And I'm about to hit the nail on the coffin on this Melecca after I get through reading this war. This great war they had. Look at the brownery of the brownie people. We call them brownies instead of blackies. That's disrespectful. Look at the lips. We see this with the Americans. Okay, look at this one right here. They got the hairdos. Look at that one with the long hairdo though. You see, this is how racism got us. Racism got us thinking, oh, we're just black nappy heads. But if you see amongst us long hair people, sleepy-eyed people, right? You are the only people on earth who will have a nappy hair people and a long hair people in one room. We are the only people who don't discriminate. They will tell us our hair is too nappy. But if you can see right here, these people is getting along on these caves, even got the third eye on their head. When you see that third eye, you already know who that is. You see that 3 eyes on the head. I know y'all see it. I know you see the third eye on the head. Don't nobody else got no third eye because you got to have you melanin for even for it to work. Right. I think you got to have something called neuromelanin. See, your neuromelanin is going to have it black and healthy. When it calcified, that means you eating all that starchy food. See, you're not even going to be able to open your third eye if you follow the diet of the European. So that's another little fact right there. You cannot hide that old pheomelanin or your third eye not even going to work. Now look at the wall paintings that we're going to find down in, Mexico, same little stuff. Look at the ancestors on the back of the wall. This is what they're tearing up in America because they're stealing. Look at all that. Dark skin, brown, brown. Okay, look at him with the little things, the tied up things, like the Moors and the Mayan. Wow, look at the Inca or the Mexican earring and the Mexican, what's the homie name in Mexico? Man, what's his name? The one they always be bragging about. What's his name, man? The little king in Mexico. Montezuma. This the same little Montezuma caps and the Spaniard caps. You see, they'll try to put this cap on the Spaniards. They'll try to make you think only the Spaniards wear this cap. But look at that. They got the tied up. You know, it's tied up in the back. You see the two little things right here? We gonna see these same tie-ups with the Egyptian and the Mayans. Come on, man. You know I'm delivering the information, man. Let's go back. This looks like a good one right here. I want to get some good ones. I'm gonna get some good ones before I get out of here. And then I'm gonna hit him upside the head. I got some more proof on that Meluhha. Okay, this gotta be it. I done been through this one. This is it right here. I done been through this one. Yeah, this ain't it. I done been through one of these where it was just showing it. Every time I put it out there. This ain't one of them. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. This is right here, ain't it? No, this ain't it, because the one I seen got an elephant in the front of the building. I'm almost through with this video. Ooh, they making sure I don't get the one I used to have. Y'all remember that other one? Y'all remember that other one? With the elephant in front. See, look at the temples, the red. So we had the wheel. They want to act like we ain't had a wheel. You see how they were trying to say, oh, the Mayans and the Negroes didn't have a wheel. Yeah, the pictures are he said all that official. That is the Aurora Caves, brother. Have you ever heard of the Ayanta Caves? The Indian caves, the Meluhha, and the Chinese caves? They won't even let you in the Chinese ones. They won't even let them in the Chinese ones, so we lucky to see these. The Chinese saying that they all black, and the ones in China. The ones in so-called China, they all black. Look at this beauty that is not world history because it is niggas. The whole world got this. Afghanistan got this. They're trying to tear it all down. This is how much these people hate you. They want it all gone. They're putting that white Jesus everywhere. They're putting that white Jesus. They're putting that white Muhammad. They don't want you to know you was free. They're just telling you was a black slave and you're running with it. You're running with it. This is all around the world and they're conquering us. They're on a conquest and America is the final frontier to steal your brain from you forever. To how you looking stupid. Boy, they better be lucky, man. I swear. Let me just say booty. Yeah, if we was to go on them caves in China, it would be jaw-dropping. Islanders, like Iceland. Another fake word they're tricking us with. The nappy hair, though. See, I like that when they come in all color. You don't know how we... You can clearly see the light-skinned Buddha. Look at his lips. You can see there's healthy, light-skinned people. Look, not just black. Look at that reddish one right here. You see that light-skinned nappy here? And that light skin, they chipped his face off so you wouldn't know it was a light-skinned god too, not just a black. And that's why we majority only get this black perspective of Moors. That's all you ever get. Moorish is everything. It's like Allah. It's almost like saying, when we saying Moors, it's a similar word. Look at that light-skinned brother. Look at the brown one. We're all in all, everything. The blacks are trying to take the community and make you focus on Africa instead of focus on the all in all. Right? Okay. So let's go over here right quick. Let me do this right quick. Hold on. Abdullah Bey. Let me do this. They be hating strong. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get back to the video. No, it's not made for kids. You got to do that. Definitely got to do that. Bam. You coming, homie? You don't know how we coming. We ain't just coming. It was, we ain't just coming with no dark skin homies. We're not just coming with dark skin homies. We coming with light brown homies, brown homies, caramel brown. We got all types of homies, man. And they don't like us. That's why they say, oh, he's ghetto. He's this. They judge us every day because they look for a reason to compare themselves and be over us. Here it is right here. Here it is right here. No, this ain't even it. This ain't it. This ain't it, boy. Ain't lucky. Boy, I'm finna have to get out of here. Oh, I swear, boy, I used to get it. They used to pull up so swift back in the day. I hate reloading. Cause then they would put you back into an algorithm where you can't find nothing. Now look what he got in his hand. Remember that. That's the pomegranate. That is the pomegranate. Look at the pics of these people. I don't know if that was no pomegranate. I think that was something else. I don't know what the hell that was. It looked nothing like what the Europeans selling us. Okay, let's see.
I made that one up.
Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh, you know they're jealous now. It's nothing to talk about. We ain't even tapped into this shit. We study arguing with these Indian Asians. We talk about Indian and more. That's all they argue about. We haven't even tapped into this. So we can argue with these little puny Asians who running around here making fun of us too. Passing laws in our country against us. You know, and all that. The Arabian Peninsula. They are known as, back to the Melecca, as we can see right here, they are Arabian Peninsula. They are known as the Meroes. So they're saying Meluhha for the typical reader to be Magayo. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. Meluhha. See, that's the code word for English. So you'll always hide the Mazurians, who is the Egyptians, the Egyptian civilization. Mazur is Egypt, and context, Magan is Mazur. So Maya, Meroe is Nubia. So the three civilizations, Egypt, Nubia, and the Mayans. Okay. Now let's read a little bit more to get a little bit more understanding of these Melecas. Because remember, Meroe or Moriah is called the despotate of Moriah, and also the what is it called? Not the despotate. Let's get the actual. Let's get the actual name of Meroe. Latin Empire. Let's get the actual name. Okay, it would be the Principality of Ashaya would be, okay, it is not, I said the despotate. The despotate of Moriah would be Byzantine. See, the Latin Empire, the Principality of Moriah is after the Byzantine, the total conquest of Africa. When the Alabamans and the Mississippians and them folks, the New Yorkians, when they dominated Africa and called themselves gods, that's before the Latin Empire, which is more broke up into segmented kingdoms. It is called Moriah. Whenever you hear about Latin Empire, it's called Moriah. Don't let them fool you. That's what PNF know. Now let's go back. Meluhha. Okay, let's get an idea of this. Let's get an idea. Like I said, Moriah, this is the same kingdom empire. During that time, that's about to get conquered by the Umayyad Caliphate at around 600-700 after the Holy War. Now the Hellenistic period, or the term was used archaically to refer to Ptolemaic Egypt. So they're going through hell right now. It seems like maybe they're about to have some fights or it's about to get crazy. But anyway, it's an account of festival celebrating the conclusion of the Sixth Syrian War, or in reference to the campaign of Antiochus the fourth of Epiphanes in Egypt. Remember, this is during the leading of Moriah. This is after Byzantine, or during Byzantine. And Epiphanes wrote about the kings of Moriah. Now, Epiphanes in Egypt, Antiochus the king marched triumphantly through the cities of Meluhha. So that would have to be Sudan, Nubia, and probably Cusco, what we call the Cusco people of South America. These is them first wars. So these is the what we call what do you call that area in Peru? Down there, that civilization with them big blocks, them H blocks. Those big H blocks down there that look like Nubia. What is that civilization called? I can't even think of it. I want to show that civilization to give y'all an example of this connection of who they're fighting. Now they're marching through the cities of Meluhha or Meluhha, Marukana. Let's see. Okay, let me see. It's called Bolivia. The H blocks. Let's say H blocks of South America. Now I'm giving you the visual because you know and I know the H block and Pamampuku. Now let's say H blocks of Pamampuku. Now where have you seen these blocks before? Oh, you guessed it. In Nubia. The same rock cutting, the same H blocks in Nubia. Let's go look it up. Nubia pyramids. Mid structures. Wow, so now we got the Quechua, we got the Quechuas, Christian Aymaras, and we also got the Moravian Napata citizens, wealthy citizens, with this same H tombs. So we got these same pyramid. You know, the pyramids is probably keeping their bodies cool. It's probably natural solar panels to keep the tombs cool. In the wintertime, in the hot sun, it's probably a natural, you know what I'm saying, building, or it could be anything. It could be entrances to the underworld. Who knows? All this blank desert could be underground, either or. But most important is what we see is the H symbols, right? We see them H symbols, then we look up in South America. We see the same H symbols. So we see the connection, y'all. It's not no coincidence. Same stone rock cutting. Now let's go back to read. Meluhha. Now, Mazur, ancient name of Egypt, Meluhha, Meroe, or Meroa, capital of Nubia. Antiochus marched triumphantly against the cities. So that means he would have marched through Africa and America. Now, these references do not necessarily mean early references to Meluhha, also referred to as Egypt. Direct contact between Sumer and the Indus Valley had ceased even during the mature Harappan phase when Oman and Bahrain, Magan and Delmun became intermediaries. After the sack of Ur by the Elamites and subsequent invasion of Sumer, its trade and contact shifted west, and Meluhha passed almost into mythological memory. The resurfacing of the name simply reflect cultural memory of a rich and distant land. And once again, why would Arabia be this rich and distant land when Arabia and Mesopotamia is like California and Texas? They're right by each other. Or Florida and Texas. It is used in records of Ashayamenid and Seleucid military expos serving to aggrandize those kings. This kind of reattribution of archaic geographical terms was regular concurrence in the first millennium. Now here go the connections of these same Marucans. So these Malucans, they're related to Buddhist, Roman, Mesopotamia, and Magan civilization, who we suspect as the Turks. The so-called Turks of America right now called the Mayan and the Meccan. When you call them Macan, or what we can call these people they're called the Maka, the Mandan. The Mandan is another group of these Macan people in America. Well, I also believe the word moccasin come from. But it's another group in America that call themselves Macan. But this Oman is the civilization built by Turks, the Arabian now claim, and these people are the people who is eerily similar to these civilization we find in Mexico, the Oman civilization. They too build similar. Now, and past historian had debate possible locations, including the region of Yemen, known as Mayin. Mayin. So here we go with this Mayan right up in your face in the South Upper Egypt and Nubia, where we get the word Bahia from, in Beja, or the Sudan, and others as part as Iran and Pakistan. See, I told you Pakistan and Iran is a part of this. Other possible locations for Maya include Bahrain and Qatar, and geographical location is Dalmun. The later location, specifically neighborhood of Baluchistan, Balak and Balan, remember that, West Asia, has been suggested account of similarity between Baluchistan historical name Makran and Makan, a variant of Megan. So Megan and Mayan can very well be similar, y'all. It can be the same word. Megan, Akkadian, Macan. So Macon, Georgia, the Macan tribe of California, right? Now I'm seeing gave the Akkadian the title Malik to the defeated ruler of Mayans, or Megan. Remember they already said it's Mayin. So Akkadian Nerasim Naramson, he gave the name Malik to the defeated ruler of Mayan, a title which is cognate to the Semitic, including Arabic word for king, or Malik, the Malachite. Megan was famed for its shipbuilding and its maritime capabilities. One Megan ship was capable of carrying 20 tons of cargo, making each a formidable vessel. Mainayum key in Mesopotamia. Okay, let's get out of here. That's too much. Bactria, Paleomyelitis, the Gutian kings. I don't want to get it now. Even though they break it down, the Gutians, I ain't gonna lie. This really gonna be the breakdown. The Gushans and the Kuti. Let's go back. Let me do one more thing before I get out of here with the Megan. The Megan, aka Mayin, remember, the Megan or Meluhha are the Meluhha and Mazur, which would be Egypt. Duh. There we go. So now we know there are old descriptions of Egypt and the people who occupied it. And the people who... Okay. Oil, copper, chicken, which is American, cotton. Okay. Do it say corn? Carnelian, pearls, beads. Okay, but they got cotton and chicken though. That's sus. And I think it's Mariah or Mariah. I think that's what that M word is. So let's speed it up. AKA Astalan. Now let's go back. Remember that word after basking? Remember that. Let's go back. Remember, Atlantis means Atlantish. It's weird, queer, offbeat, far out. So saying outland is just saying outlandish. You're out. You're not normal. You're freaky. You don't want to be Atlantis. That's not the word. The H blocks, the same H blocks we find in Nubia. Same H blocks in Nubia we find in South America. And we got the witness prove that the South Americans have cultivated these deserts and turned them to a swelling oasis full of life and porticos brought to life with the help of the Amari Khans or the Miley Khans. Let's go back. Now, while comparing many photographic evidence of the caves for the purpose of comparing descriptions of the underground city found in the Grand Canyon, I found upon these paintings in the caves of the Atlantic caves. Same ones similar to the ones they're saying that they found in the dang on Americas. Now, I got a cold video. You see this one right here. The brother, Real Roadies, he showed a civilization built just like this and evidence that they call themselves Moors. Maybe this is where that X come from right here, but you see that brother with the Negro features. You see that pic right there. We're going to show y'all the whole American breakdown on the Native Americans who got this and the Africans. Now look at Buddha and the lady of Elches. The lady of Elches. Look at the corn. Wow, look at all the artifacts. Look at the teeth. Okay, let's go in on that. Let's go in on that. They do. I want to do similarities before I get out of here. This video almost, yes, Moroe was here too. It's Moriah. That's what I was telling y'all about Calvedianism and Indian differences. And Nayan is the antique mothers, and Indian is the new mothers. Shout out to UTLS in the building, Real Roadies. The ultimate evidence of why I believe Atlantis is fake and who is ruling Atlantis. Now, Manjushri was the first king of Shambhala given the title Kalki, meaning holder of the caste similarities. And this ain't going to take me long to compare it to the Native Americans. Let's get a zoom in. Let's break this down, because I said I'm going to give y'all the ultimate evidence of why I believe Atlantis is fake and who is ruling Atlantis. Now, Manjushri Kirti was the first king of Shambhala given the title Kalki. Okay, so this is very important. Let me add this to this. Rigdan Takpa or Rigdan Takpa, and otherwise known as Manjushri Kirti, was supposedly be the 8th king of Shambhala. It is said that he would have become king in about 159 BC and that he was born there. As his name indicates, is considered to have been an incarnation of Manjushri, the Bodhisattva of wisdom. His rule is said to have extended over hundreds of petty kings and 100,000 cities. He is said to have expelled 300,000 followers of heretical doctrine of the Meleccas, meaning barbarian or materialistic barbarian, some of whom worship the sun. I'm reminded of the legends of Fusang, but after the reconsidering, he brought them back and they asked for his teachings. Could the Meleccas be one and the same as Mecca, tribe of the Arizona Pass, who eventually became known as the Mexican? See, remember I told you about Mexican slang. Remember I mentioned Mexican slang to Abdullah Bey. So we're documented as a Mexum and Mexican. And Mecca, the Makkah of the northwest of the Shishi Mecca. It is sad that the Shishi Mecca was the name that the Nahua people of Mexico generally applied to many bands and tribes of nomadic and semi-nomadic peoples who inhabited northern modern-day Mexico and southwest United States. Chichimeca carried the same sense as the Roman term barbarian to describe people living outside settled agriculture areas, borrowed. Okay, let's go. Meaning holder of the caste systems. Kalipa, according to Buddha's legend, is the capital kingdom of Shambhala, where Kulika king is said to reign on the land. Let's go down. Why does this sound familiar? The Satya Yuga, Devanagari, also called Sat Yuga, Kirti Yuga, and Kriti Yuga in Hinduism is the Yuga age of error or truth, when humanity is governed by gods. Keep reading. And every manifestation or work is close to the purest ideal, and humanity will allow intrinsic goodness to rule supreme. It is sometimes referred to as the Golden Age. The goddess Dharma, the Dharma, which symbolizes morality, stood on all four legs during this period. Sand paintings. Now, the Kali Chakra mandala of Buddhism is often a sand painting used for the purposes of cleansing or healing, be it physical or spiritual. The only other people who make these sand paintings for the exact. Are y'all reading with me? Are y'all paying attention to history? Pay attention. The sand paintings. Now, the Kali Chakra mandala of Buddhism is often a sand painting used for the purposes of cleansing or healing, be it physical or spiritual. The only other people who make these sand paintings for the exact reasons, but with small differences, is the Native American Indian, more specifically, the Apache. Did y'all not just see me show y'all Athabaskan and Athabaskan of the Meluhha, the Meroe? Didn't I tell you Athabaskan is an Apache language? Also the Zuni and the Tohono O'odhams and the Navajo. They are the only other people who do it in America. And where are they located? In the southwest Hohokam area, y'all. Now, the Buddhist mandala will. All right, let's pause for a minute. Let's go and get an idea of the sand painting. Let's say sand calligraphy. Let's look that up. And we're going to come back to that of what they were doing in America and maybe where those crop circles and these geometric designs come from. It could be more ancient than you know and not really extraterrestrials. You know, let's go sand paintings. Practice not only in just America, but in Japan as well. So look at this sand paintings, Navajo sand paintings. So when we look at this actually is the same as what we see in the Ayanta caves. This is the Native American, and this is exactly what we find in the Alanta caves, man. Wow, this is deeper than I know stumbling upon us. I didn't even realize I discovered this. Now look at him with the red Moorish. What are those brothers called? The Sufi. Is this the Sufi people or this the Shia people? Yeah, the Shia people in West Africa wear these red bands on their head. I forgot the brother's name, what country it is, but they're over there grouping up right now in their country with the red band on their head. But yeah, this is deep. Let's go back. Let me build. In most cases, have the lotus at its center with renditions of lotus petals throughout. The Navajo uses the feather for the exact purpose, and having the meaning of power, spirit, or holy. Both the native and the Buddhist mandala displays the four cardinal directions, and in many cases, you will see the wheel of Dharma. The native credit the ancient ones, Anasazi people, or enlightened ones, holy ones, for teaching them the practice of use and meaning of mandala. Compare the two together in appearance and you will see comparable characteristics. This is on each side of the world, one from the east, one from the west, one from Native American Indians, one from East Indian. Notice the lotus in the center of the wheel, in many cases the native mandala on the left, having the feathers in the center, both of which having the near identical meaning. The lotus, you see the lotus in the middle? See the same directions? The four cardinal directions? Now, why did I... Hold on. I always wanted to build on this. This right here, I think it's called Nui Olin. Let's look this up. I think it's Nahui Olin. Okay. That's not what it's called. That's it. Okay, Allen. Nahui Allen. Cal Huadel. Okay, I think this right here, Mictlan, traveled to Mictlan, Tana, Tau, Tolake, Matil. I think this right here is a central mirror. Let's look up central mirror. Central mirror. I think the ancestors was deeper than we know. Now, when we look at the central mirror, it's the X. Then we got the number 7. Then we got the number 7 that plays in this as well. But this is a central mirror, and I believe this is the center of an allele or a gene. Wow, so this is us. This is exactly what we are. And you've never heard that before. You've never heard that before in your life. And the X symbol is carried by a lot of tribes, or what they would call tribes, but can't be tribes because they are universally adept and knowledgeable. So the people can't be tribal because they're together worldwide. They're trying to tribe them up, but they're not. These people were geniuses and they knew about the symbols. They knew about this and they want to tell you they're a tribe and they're just wearing an X. No. So this is the central mirror. This is probably your duality existence where you got your mother and your father grouped together, or what this is your core, your ancestors called the more. Central more. Central more. I can do a video on that. A lot of children don't even know that. That you are more to your core. But anyway, back to the video. Include the Aztec calendar? Well, for the visual obvious reasons, but let me give you a closer view of a portion of calendar and one of the reasons you will see later. Okay, let's get back. You see what they're showing you, whatever these things is about to expose. Let's remember these arrows. The lotus petal was present, indicated by the red arrows. Strangely enough, the archaeologists recognize these as conditions and feathers, no matter they carry the exact same meaning. Also, take a good look at the following Aztec Codex manuscript painting. One can't help but see the obvious connection to the Native American sand painting and the Buddhist mandala. So here's the Native American. One can't note, one but notice, as they said, similar to the Buddhist painting. Now, one more little feature that you might be interested from the Kala Chakra mandala, we find what appears to be typical Native American or Aztec design. Oh, do we see it? Oh, do we see the Aztec, or what we call, what is that? The Kufi calligraphy? Do we see the Kufi calligraphy, aka Aztec writing? Uh-oh, somebody in trouble. Trouble, okay? It is just me, or does the center design of the Kali Chakra resemble an aerial view of the Aztec temple? Kali Chakra is a Sanskrit term used in Tantric Buddhism that literally means time wheel or time cycles. Perhaps now you get an additional idea of why I included the above Aztec calendar time wheel used for time cycles, things that make you go, Some would say at this point that I am a visionary man. To that, I would say, I hope so. Some would say my work is speculative. And again, I would say, I hope so. Without speculation, there is no theory, which may later become a fact. Every theory begins with speculation. There is none so blind as those who will not see. Now, let me show you what really jumped out at me, found to be startling when I found the image of the unknown character while viewing the Ajanta or Alanda cave paintings. Other than a slight difference in the area of the lips, we have a near identical rendition of the face of the Lady Elshe, like elk or Elkhart, Indiana. Notice the long nose, same basic and eyebrows. Compare the Atlanta cave image with the image of an unknown man, which could be rigged in Takpa. The 8th king of Shambhala, although similar, I would like to think the two images below are not the same. These are not the same. It is possible the Lady of Elsh is in fact a king of mythical land of Shambhala. Or is it, I went over there earlier in the video, how it looked like Tenochtitlan. It is possible the Lady Elsh is in fact a king of mythical land, or is it somewhere else? Remember that Kincaid Remember that King Cade, the founder of Grand Canyon City, said over 100 feet, the idol or image of the people's God sitting cross-legged with the lotus flower or lily in each hand. The cast of the face is oriental, and the carvings of this cavern, the idol almost resembles Buddha. There he is with the lotus. Unknown entity of the. That's why Michael Jackson probably bleached his skin too. They probably showed Michael Jackson this back then, and he went crazy. See, they probably was looking at all of them people, and they were seeing the ones look like Oprah. They were seeing the ones looking like Omarion, and they was going crazy. And they synced this one, and Michael Jackson bleached his skin to look like this. Most resembles Buddha. There he is with the lotus. Unknown entity of the eye. Right. It says unknown. See, they're assuming he a Buddha when he was just on a microphone spitting raps or something. This was a rap cipher back then, and he was singing. And they thinking they was a god. No. That's just like another entertainer right now, like Michael Jackson, who was being respected. Because it says unknown entity of the Ayanta caves, presumed to be Prince of Mahayanaka. Ayanta caves presumed to be the Prince Maya Yanaka or Maya Yaniga. Maya Yanaga. Maya Janaka. Shanaka. Hold on 1 second, yo. We are. That's name Maya. Now you see what we get. This video almost over. Each succeeding emperor of the Aztec was an incarnation of their god Hui Huitzilopochtli. In Buddhism, it was believed that each Buddha was considered an avatar of each successor, a literal descent, appearance, and manifestation or incarnation. The comparisons of the Aztec belief and traditions to Hebrew ways and Hindu Buddhists are many. What's in the maze? To further give credibility to the people of India migrating here long before Columbus, not saying that they was here first, but them at least migrating based off knowledge, it is widely known and believed that maize or corn originated in the Americas and was not known to those in the East until the European migrations beginning with the Spanish. So nobody knew about corn until the Spanish. And that's why I attribute Mexican slang, Spanish slang, and American slang to El Chiquito. And I'm going to stop right there. Even though I did want to include all of this Melecca. So let's come back to that. Let's go to let's do that. No, I ain't going to take away from this video yet. We're going to get the Nasrid. Where are the Nasrids at? I know I got them up here. Let's go get the Nasrid, and let's go and get the Choctaw Dictionary. Choctaw Language Dictionary. Okay, here it is right here. Let's get that on the screen. Okay, now let's go and get the Nasrids. Where are you? Let's go read up on the Nasrid people. Then we going in on the Native Americans. See, I can teach people. That's why y'all in slavery, because y'all still enslaved through them old Moors who want to act like they important. Y'all got Taj Tariq Bey who ain't getting no older. Let's go get his pick. Y'all are doomed, man. I feel so sorry for y'all because when I come into power, I'm not showing no love. Y'all are really much done. It's really a wrap. Taj Tariq Bey, he's like 89, 85. He's still their leader. They don't have nobody else. They can just come on and sing and represent his type of knowledge. Farrakhan is like 90. This is his spokesman. This is number one little pit bull. You know, you got Nuri Muhammad, who is the light-skinned favorite. You know, he's Muhammad's favorite. But Ben is really the outspoken one. You feel me? But Taj Tariq, he don't got nobody. Sabir Bey ain't even really his pit bull. You know, he ain't his guardian. He has nothing. So, you know, these Moors right here, man, they all over with their little old school way of thinking. And that it didn't even work. Because the prophet said you can try your way and your way didn't work. So you can tell it didn't work. We know it didn't work. Taj Tariq Bey looked like Lil Baby. He looked like Lil Baby. He's the GOAT master. He got a lot of books, though. I ain't gonna lie, though. I show, man, that's love, though. He gets to that money, though. But he duped y'all. Taj Tariq Bey duped y'all, and I know it sucks. Especially when you a fake Moor, when you one of them Moors who just, I don't want to say fake, because Moorish American is a people. But when you one of those, when you are talking, running your mouth and not representing correctly, you embarrass yourself when you find out that you was following radicals who don't even teach real Moor science. I mean, really doing my analysis of this community of authentic, original research and trying to connect the Kemet with the Canaanite, Israelite, Sun culture, and Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, Nagism, Sophism, and peace. I can just say like maybe 70% of the community has it wrong. They're just not teaching accurate information, and it sounds so good. People sound so good at glossing over and putting stuff together that they're really not paying attention to what they say. And I find it funny that D Calico is one of the coldest at comprehension. That a lot of people under him has a false sense of perception of themselves. They have a distorted view on themselves. Like they really are not top flight, like how they're portraying themselves. Because I easily glossed over Abdullah Bey in this video, and I'm gonna put his name in the chat so he can in the title so he can learn his lesson on this. Because I easily proved that there was American, Mexican, and Spanish American lingo long before English, overtook the Louisiana Purchase and the Chicago World Fair. A lot of us got Spanish, Latin, Hispaniola, and or Creole, and or Mexican backgrounds in America. Not everybody is just black, and that's why we're Moorish, and I thought that's what the prophet brought us. But like I say, it's always these black guys that push this black pan-African view of Moorish, when the prophet knew that America had a lot of Asiatics, not just blacks. A lot of types of Asiatics, copper-colored Mississippian Asiatics who are not black, light-skinned, strong people who are not black. And we all got different backgrounds, but we're all Moorish. But we also do have the black African aspect, and we respect that. But the Mississippians are stronger. So let's go get the Nasrid. Let's get that and read from that. We can use Wiki. Let's see their sources right quick before we read. We have Encyclopedia of Islam, W. Montgomery, Anglican priest, professor of Arabic and Islam studies. Oh man, we got a lot of stuff. Cambridge History University. Okay, let's go in here and prove my point with the Nasridians. Now, in my mind, they are the emirate of the Grenadians, or Granada, the greatest of the Nadas, who could be descendants of Ada or Ad kings. And we know the Ad are the giants. That goes all the way to the Ottomans, right? The Nasrid Banu Nazir Ban Alma Nazari was an Arab dynasty that ruled. And Arab is one of those words that we have to be careful with. We really be careful with that because they're already Nasrid, so they're not Arab. They're already who they are. But Arab is given to the defeated people of the Umayyad Caliphate. So they give the Umayyad Caliphate, which was a Western people, a Hollywood people, a Cali people, a Nevada people, a Mexican people, a Illinois people. They gave these people a Arab name now and a fake location. Emirate of Grenada that we find in Americas, New Grenada and Grenada Islands, was the last Muslim dynasty in Iberia. 23 emirs ruled Grenada. Muhammad I, these are titles. These are not actual names. Hold on. And to Muhammad VII, surrender all lands to Queen Isabella. Today, the most visible evidence of the Nasrid dynasty is part of Alhambra, the Red Palace. I think it literally translates to the Red Palace. So these are the red people, right? This is the Caliradians that they're hiding. The people who were speaking for mother, they were put in position for the mother. Now, the dynasty founded by Muhammad I of Granada held a territory that included Granada and Jayan and Almeria and Malaga, like Melecca, Valencia, Yativa, and Jain were conquered by Christians during the campaigns of Reconquista. And for the most part, the Nasrids, who my instincts tells me are the Nashki script makers of the Nashvillian type Mayro district, Spanish Moorish Americans in Tennessee. This is what my spider senses is telling me. These are the Tennessee people who are going to be pivotal in the Battle of Manansa. We're going to come back to this, but let's focus on my instincts first. Remain into tribute-paying vassals. From 1243, Granada continued as a center of Islamic culture, which is like saying Jerusalem culture, and they're just switching it to separate you from the source. It's no different than saying Jerusalem culture. Let's look up Jerusalem and Dar es Salaam. They're trying to take these people and put them on the outside when all actuality they are Jerusalem. The Nasrids later formed alliances with the Marinids Sultanate of Banu Marine, where the name Marines come from, right, of Morocco. Nasrid crafts like textiles work such as ceramic overglaze, used techniques from 9th century Baghdad and replied to make lusterware, first in Malaga, Morcaya, and Almeria, and then by the 15th century in Manises. If I'm not mistaken, there's a Manises, New York, and is a municipality and comarca of Puerto Oeste and Valencia. This style of pottery produced first under the Muslim patronage. Then Christian influenced the latest style of colorful glazed Italian ceramics known as Meluhha. Throughout the 14th century, the Nasrids are noticed for their palace architecture like the Alhambra, the Red Palace, which was a product of the efforts of Ismail, the Illinoisan, the Da'awa al-Ismailiyya al-Nasriyya, right? The Illinoisans, right? The Ismaili people of Illinois, right? Isabel of Castile resulting in a union of the Christian kingdoms of Castile and Aragon. The monarch shared a common cause of conquering the last Muslim kingdom on the Iberian Peninsula, because the Muslim kingdom would be the sultanates of the mothers of America, because they're just sultanates. They're sitting in for the women who would be the actual heirs. On the Iberian Peninsula, during the time of the Christians were launching a campaign against the Emirate of Granada that would effectively end the Nasrid dynasties. The Nasrids were engaged in a civil war over the throne of Granada, and we know Granada on the map is California. Remember I mentioned that these are Nashvillians and the people of the Moro district. When Abu Hassan Ali, Sultan of Granada, was ousted by his son Muhammad VII, Abu Hassan Ali retreated to Malaga, and civil war broke out between the competing factions. Christians took full advantage of this and continued capturing Muslim strongholds. Muhammad VII was caught by Christian forces in 1843 in Lucena, Cordoba. He was freed after he swore an oath of allegiance to Ferdinand of Aragon and Isabella. See the games they play? Abu Hassan Ali finally abdicated in favor of his brother Muhammad VIII, Sultan of Granada, also known as Al-Zagal, the Violent. And a power to surrender to the Christians, Muhammad VII surrendered Granada to Ferdinand and Isabella in 1492 and was given a lordship in Alpujarras Mountains, but instead took financial compensation from the Spanish crown to leave the Iberian Peninsula. The remaining Muslim population was given the status of Mudajar. 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 Mud. They call you a mud. That's where they come from with the mud. The Nasrid dynasty was descended from the Banu Khazraj tribe and claimed direct male line descent from Sayyid ibn Ubadah or Aida. Ibn Dulaim al-Ansari was the chief of the Sa'ida clan of the Khazraj tribe in Medina. In the early 7th century, he was later recognized as the chief of the whole Khazraj tribe and then of the Ansar. And they was the chief of the tribe and one of the companions of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. So the Nasrid, Muhammad, this is the tree. And as we can see, Ibn Mali, and we see, or Ibn Mywell, unknown daughters because they were around the time when they were usurped. So they didn't add them. So we don't know who could be their relatives in America, but let's pay attention to these names. Bo Abadil, Muhammad VII, Muli Hassan, and El Zagal. El Zagal is the brother who is going to be very important around 1485, 1486. Look at this time. He's a Muhammad, which is a title of somebody taking the place of the prophet, sitting in for the prophet. Right now, let's go up in here. Monarchs of the Iberian Peninsula. Al-Andalus. These are monarchs. Almohads, Almoravids, Aragon, Asturias, Castile, Catalonia, Cordoba or the Caliphate, Galicia, Granada, Leon, Mallorca, like the Majorians, Navarre, like Navadalaca, Portuguese, like Guiche, and Brazilians, medieval, Suebes, like the old Galli, Taifas, Valencia, Vigera, Visigoths. So this is a big American family. You ain't gonna get no more American than this. Atlantic, I mean. Now let's go and get their names. Let's go and get their names to show you how this all started. Now, right here, we can see his name is Abu Abdullah Muhammad, which is religious military name. Religious military name. And he's from Toledo. And his name is the Red King. The Red King. El Rey Bermejo. El Rey Bermejo. So that's why I said that when the dude Abdullah Muhammad, what's his name? Abdullah Bey was shaking his head in disgust when I said Mexican slang or American language. I said the Red King. They have names like El Chiquito. So that is an American name. That is not a Spanish name. A more like him, a more like Abdullah Bey that was on the Calico channel, he will have you thinking that is a Spanish name from Spain, but that is a Hispanola name because we have American Indian chiefs who have Spanish names. We have a large American Indian Spanish community, Moorish community that has these Spanish names known as Andalusia or Turk names. So Bermejo, let's go down to this next one. Muhammad VIII, which is a secret society's name. That is a secret society. That is not a common name. Mutamasik. These are names from war generals in a war language, known as the Little One or Al Sagirolel Pequeno. Sagar El Pequeno. Pequeno is another Spanish American Creole name. Abu Abdullah Muhammad Al Ghalib Billah, known as left-handed. Al Isar El Zerdo. I'm not sure about that. Sounds Brazilian. Muhammad Mutamasik, known as the little one, Al Sag Hurl El Pequeno. Sounds like Al Pacino type names. Abdullah Ma Muhammad, I think that's the ninth. Al Gallup Billah, known as left-handed Ayers. Damn, it's a place called Ayersley in Charlotte. Sir El Zerdo. Abu Hajjaf Yusuf IV, known as Ibn al-Ma'il or Ibn Nalmail. Abe Nalmail. Let's go to this name. We said this name already. Abu Abdullah Muhammad the X, known as the Lame or Al Anaflel Koho. Yusuf V, 1445, known as Ibn Ishmael, Ibn Ishmael. Abu Abdullah Muhammad the 10th, I think X is 10, right? Known as the Lame Al Anaflel Koho. Let's skip this name because we said it already. Muhammad the 11th, right? Roman numerals was that's the 19th. I cannot count. I do not know my Roman numerals. There we go. X is 20. And Muhammad the 19th, Nasrid ruler, was the Moorish Emirate of Granada. He was the Moorish Emirate. So that's a Moorish name, a Moorish war name. That is not an Arab name. I take that back. These are not Arabs. Arab is the overtaking of the Moorish. Now, he is known as El Chiquito. I knew I synced it from somewhere. Chiquitas, we have that as an American Spanish or a Moorish name. Spanish and Moorish is the same. The difference is native and mestizo. That's the only difference. Spanish and Moorish is the difference between Spanish is mestizo and native. That's it. He's known as El Chiquito, like Chihuahua. So that is a Spanish lingo. I didn't say nothing wrong to Abdullah Bey. So that go to show you that man was tweaking and this guy Alzheimer's. Here go another name, Abu Nasir Sa'ad al-Musta'in bi Allah, known as Sariza and Mulizad. Abdullah Muhammad, known in Europe as Bo Abadil, Nasrid ruler. He was a red ruler. He was red enough to be the ruler of the red race, right? Reddish brown people, not blacks. Blacks and whites had their own leaders. Reds had their own leader. So a lot of you brown people in here that be in here claiming black, you weren't even allowed in the black party back then. You weren't allowed in the white camps back then. You had to stick to your own brown and red. They just lumping y'all up together now. Abu El Hassan Ali, known as Muli Haitian. Abu Abdullah Muhammad, the 23rd Nasrid ruler in Granada, known as the Brave. Al Zag Halel. And there's a chief in America called Halil in America, Halil. Chief Zagalel, Zagal. And the last one, Muhammad, was the 22nd and last Nasrid ruler, known as Bo Abadil. So El Zago and Bo Abadil is two important characters that's going to break down what we're dealing with. Moorish Nasrid dynasty that I believe are brown Americans. Red towers. Okay, let's read this. As John surveys Granada from a distance, he asks Abe Namar, which sounds like a Welsh name. Abe Namar describes some of the architectural wonders of the Moorish capital, naming in turn the Alhambra, the Mosque, the Nasrid Palace, and the Alexaris, the General Life Summer Palace, and the Red Towers. Okay, let's keep reading. After seeing Granada and hearing of its wealth, John addresses the city itself and proposes marriage to it, offering Cordoba and Seville as a dowry. However, Granada proudly refuses him, replying, Casada soy que no viuda, el moro que en mi tien muy grande bien me queria. I am married and no widow, the more whom I belong to loves me very well. So she belongs to a Moor. So they know what a Moor is. They know exactly who and what a Moor is. That means you have a Negro mama. Your mother has woolly hair. Some type of real Negro dominance in genetics. That's what a Moor is. So this is the Nasrid Moorish, which is, I believe, was a racial hierarchy of reddish, brown, copper color Americans. That's where it's taking me. And I broke it down to brother. So let's go pull up the Mero districts and some of the red people and see if we can find some more connections. Let's say Mero district. Mero district. We got the Mero district, Nashville, Tennessee, and we know the story behind that. We already know the story behind Jerusalem and Wadi Petra in America. So we have the Mero, which is known as the Granada or the Spanish Moorish district. It was named out of the grandness, the grande culture of the Spanish Moorish. Because I say mestizo and Moors, because they married the mestizos. So we have the Mero. Now we have to get one more clue that can tell us what we're dealing with. Nash script. So when we look at that Nash script, Nashki script. Now we're dealing with calligraphy. And what date can we get this? Kufic is commonly believed to predate Nash, but historians have traced the two scripts as coexisting. So remember, Moorish is his own culture within the Islam, Jerusalem, who never left. So if you're in Islam, that means you never left Jerusalem. So we're in there. Moorish is in there. Moroccan is in there. As you can see, Moorish, Moroccan. It's different, and a lot of people don't want to deal with that. They don't want to accept that Moroccan is different than Moorish. Mothery, kingly. Motherish, brotherish, father. So let's go. The two scripts coexisting because we also find it in America. We find Nash script in America. I can pull it up. We also find so-called Kufic script that is called the mother script because it's called coffee. And it is found with the coffee people who were selling coffee and black drink in America known as Pepsi today and Coca-Cola. They were selling black drink in Muskogee, Georgia, where they were selling it at. The black drink, and they were selling it to the Ethiopian leaders and the Somalian leaders. Right? We got that already situated on the Nile. The Nile had their Mecca already. They already had their Mecca. So we shipping everything over there. Now, Nash is a smaller round script, and I'm putting two and two together that the Nasrids could have easily had access to Nash script, especially being that it's found closer to Tennessee than Kufi is, because Kufi is in Nevada. Nask is found in Colorado, right? So now we have the Nasrids and we have the Red King. We have the Red King. Let's go back to the Red King. Did I take it out? What did I do? Let's go back. Right here, you can easily say El Rey, which we know is a Spanish Mexican Mayan word. It is a Mayan word. El Rey is a Mexican Mayan word. They say Rey, Mundo. El Rey Bermejo, the Red King. And that's why I assume the Nasrids is the red race, because the tribe of Ishmael of America is the red race that they tried to wipe off the map. Let's go and look up the Ishmael family of America. Ishmael family genocide. We have a reddish brown people. American Native. So now we got the tribe of the Ben Ishmael. This is the people they're following, trying to rob of its ancient technology because they want to have a monopoly on the technology. So they're hunting anybody who got any electromagnetic power, anybody who know how to charge the system. I mean, the ethers, who know how to harness energy. They're hunting them down all over the world. 1785 Ishmael tribe of Ishmael. This is the actual Ben Ishmael tribe out the Ohio Valley. This is the real people recognized throughout the world. This is not a fake dish situation. The Indian community led by Sister Betty and them, they're just downplaying this for a check. They're downplaying this. They have nothing. Those people have nothing but Indian, black, and color terms. They don't have like a real name of a real tribal or nation that was ruling. They don't have that. So I'm showing y'all the red ones, the red people that they are. I'm talking about it's literally intentionally erasing the red race because you have the black, the white, all types of colors. You also had the reddish brown people, and they were known as the copper color Americans. So let's go in on that. Let's go in on that. As I told y'all, this is a long haul video right here. It's a long haul. We're gonna get it all. Can we zoom in on this? That would be neat. They don't let you zoom. They don't let you zoom. Oh yeah, there it is. All right, let's go. I told y'all I was gonna give it to you like how I used to give it to you. I still got it. While they're getting Alzheimer's disease and forgetting how to present themselves and maintain cohesiveness, I'm delivering death blows out here to any and one of your top scholars. At any given moment, I am the 1980s leader. I am the leader of that generation. I am officially your leader. There is no man in America that has this type of information and can deliver it like me, unemotionally. I can break it down for you to see where they're lying at. Any one of these dudes just representing this information. And it's not my fault they're in their feelings that they don't want to be in second place. Dakota Time Walker. We're going to go in. And this book got 156 pages. And I really don't want to read it. I really don't want to. I honestly don't want to read it all. But we're going to breeze through it and learn. So let's go and learn. And this is why debating is really, really important. Debating is really, really important for this very, very reason, because these people are out here teaching a whole curriculum that is confusing the masses. Now, let's start with this top line introduction. I am by birth an Indian of the America, which is an identity translated from the medieval concept and language, Los Sin Dios, meaning those without God. So whenever I start a debate with an American Indian, whenever I start in a debate with a black Indian, whenever I start a debate with an Aboriginal, the first thing I start with the introduction of a tribal, national Indian named Meredith Quinn, who can vouch that Indian mean without God. So an Indian does not mean with God. That mean all of those Indians under Dane Calloway and Sister Befty are lying to you. They don't have a God. They tell you they don't have a God. They don't have a religion. So they did not build those monuments or those buildings. Do you comprehend? Do you comprehend what we're dealing with? The list is long. We have a long list of these people. If we had to arrest these people right now, if we had to turn in our briefing on these people that we have tracked with all this misinformation, I have over probably 100 people that's out here teaching misinformation on a daily basis. Over 100 myself. So that's how serious it is on YouTube. So you're not an Indian, because Indian means without God. That means you have no religion. That means you built nothing. So let's move on. Let's go get it, because this has a lot of stuff in it, including check your New Year time and the prayer of Atlantis, St. John the Divine, the Illuminati tribal code. We're gonna go over all of that because the Illuminati still is out there. We know the black Illuminati is out there as well. So before we go in, this is Meredith. Let's see what Meredith says. Born on the Sisseton Wapitan Sioux Reservation on December 19, 1926, Gregorian, or December 5639 Julian, I have been able to find a reference to the true 11th and 12th months of the original Julian calendar. I spoke and wrote my first language, but could not speak or write no English or any other civilized language till I was sent away to the government Indian school. I was given 30 days to learn and speak the English language, which the top priority in these schools are face possible death. I've seen much death in these schools and could stand at attention for hours with the best of them and watch without moving a muscle. Fellow students beaten to death for not being able to meet this priority. Know the exact moment human life leaves the body, even when the body will continue to move in spasms for several moments. I've been educated and know the penalty for not being able to speak the English language in 30 days or speak or write in my first language, which leaves little room to tolerate ignorance, even knowing the civilized have specialized educational logics that create a language of ignorance for those that are to be oppressed. I've been in my professional life prior to being a so-called an Indian activist for 20 years, a professional accountant in the capacity of corporate executive and corporation officers, administrator for a major Los Angeles hospital, production accounting, and manufacturing without any type of educational credentials. I've always presented myself as no more than a dumb Sioux boy from the plains of South Dakota. As we all know, the American Indian and his culture is the one most written about subject in the civilized world. Within these concepts or ideas written about the American Indian, I find many antiquity, anthropology, archaeology, and geology references, evidence, and finds all made it from the subject. For example, many individuals with educational credentials maintain and believe that Christopher Columbus, a title and not a man, because remember, Columbus discovered the Americas. This cannot be supported by documents filled with the International Court in Hague. These documents, such as the Diem, gave Columbus the right to start a trade route with Indians because of existing treaties with Indians signed between Indian tribes and Caliph Abdullah Zagal. Remember, we was just reading about Zagal, like Steven Seagal. Remember, we was just reading about him. Uh, we was just reading about him with the Nasrid dynasty. You see that Caliph Abdullah Zagal with the Vatican as the third party of witness. These treaties were prior to Queen Isabella I purchasing her kingdom from Zagal for $17 million in the year of 1491 Gregorian. The treaties with the Pueblo Indians sitting in the archives at Santa Fe, New Mexico, that presented a unique educational situation. There are no scholars or scientists that can correctly translate medieval English, French, German, Spanish, Irish, Latin, Greek, Arabic, or Hebrew languages, which were still used less than 500 years ago. Then there is the Vero and Melbourne man that is omitted. But I can live with all of this, except for childhood beatings I refused for daring to write in my first language. What is his first language, y'all? Wait till y'all find out what his first language is. We're going to share this story right with y'all today. I'm going to take my time with y'all people to make history. For those of y'all who don't know what American language is, what American language is, what Mexican is, what Hispano is, what Spanish is, we're going to learn today and stop with the semantics. Now let's keep reading. The Melbourne man and Melbourne man is omitted, but I can live with all that except the beatings. Present day specialized educational logics teach the Indian. They had no written languages or sciences in their cultures. I received beatings for personally knowing how to write my tribal one, though. So if they didn't have no languages, why is he getting beaten for using his language, y'all? And research shows the civilized scientific community knows of two has spent billions trying to break the literary trail. As for sciences being in the culture of the Indian of the Americas, let me show what I learned before I could speak the Indian language. The English language. As a member of the tribe of the Indian of the Americas or a member of the Dakota Empire and Nation, I find ethnic researchers after having collected stories, tales, and legends from a traditional member of an Aboriginal tribe. See, this is written a long time ago, so the Black Aboriginals of Aboriginal Power and AbTV, they weren't the only people using Aboriginal. Present their data as some type of mythology that had its origin within the tribe, went from grunts and groans. Yet the scientific evidence and archaeology find of the Vero and Melbourne man proves the Indian of American had a written and spoken language since the beginning of so-called time. No other race or ethnic group can make such a claim. The present-day civilized societies cannot correctly go back to the medieval period, which is less than 500 years ago. Such records are not in possessions of the American Indian, but in the World Scientific Committee. If we take the American Indian secular treaties, they cannot be disputed. On the other side, we take the codexes, which have been presented as some type of religious mythology, are actually the articles and conditions of these treaties. Wow. Okay, let's keep reading. I'm gonna stick with y'all. Okay. But let's go back to the days of Julius Caesar, which was a time and culture and language before the medieval period, and even he had trouble trying to translate Aboriginal written and spoken language. They could not translate the Aboriginal languages. When I compare antiquity and anthropology scientists from the past to the present time, he was the father of granddaddy of them all because he tried to apply what he learned from this ancient knowledge into his personal life that made him a leader among men. The same is for George Washington, who formed the Freemasons and Indian tribes, whose members today do not know the true tribe they belong to. Reference and evidence that will use have been in your possessions. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Okay, I think, okay, let's go back. I don't know what I didn't read. I missed out something. Possession over 2,034 years. To the ancient American Indian tradition, the civilized ethnic researchers in presenting stories, tales, and legends translated one subject that calls the full spectrum of human emotions, from ironic laughter to frustrated, mistranslated, and misunderstood. The subject, when discussed many times and with a certain phrase, did we appear to be that stupid, or no one is that stupid to believe that? I'm making reference to the subject Venus, a planet in our solar system. Books, lecture subjects, and institutions of higher learning present the Indian of the Americans believing the planet Venus as some of deity or god that had to be worshipped in the season. Why is the subject of the planet Venus presented in this matter? To be fair with everyone and given the benefit of the doubt, I would say for two reasons: to make the world believe an American Indian had no sciences in their culture, or two, presentation was an exacting science that did not exist in a civilized world, and the ethnic researcher couldn't cope with it and didn't want to appear to be not knowledgeable to great sciences which the Indian possessed. What is your preference, Ishtar or Aphrodite or Venus to the American Indian? This planet has a clan name omitted through tribal courtesy because of the old ones, who do not want to be misunderstood, so Venus will be used. Through white oppression and government policies in some places, the clan name arrangements for the planets is a little out of order. Let me clarify the tribal meaning of the old ones. In civilized society, a learned individual referred to as a man of letters, who is the epitome of knowledge. The counterpart in an Indian society is called the old one. The best that can be translated because of limited expressions of civilized language. This individual is schooled and possesses knowledges from the 28 books of learning and creation through the modern day lifestyle. When it speaks or asks a question, the answer is so profound. Unless school, one does not hang around to figure out what was said, only that it came from wisdom beyond wisdom. I was invited to the Indian confrontation by the chiefs at Wounded Knee in 1973. In my first council meeting with the chiefs, sitting without any credentials or words spoken, certain chiefs recognized that I had been schooled and knew the ancient knowledges. Before any businesses on the present confrontation could take place, I had to smoke from the 50 pipes of wisdom. There are no words or expressions or phrases that can describe the feelings one goes through. This was the epitome of recognition in the Indian tribal educational system. There was nothing higher. But I was startled because I was not commissioned the old one, but the young one. The commission is not judged from age, but by your personal spirit. Even though the knowledge and wisdoms are the same and commissions are not higher or lower, there is a great difference between the two. The old ones always present themselves as a calm state. They speak in counsel and gentle ease. The standard cannot be violated. The young ones find each day new and beautiful like a small boy or girl. They are plagued with new visions, dreams, and prophecies. There is never enough time to make an absolute of each. They seek by traveling, and there is no such thing as an unknown. So the Indian of the Americas does have a system, and with the system and presentation of science will have to be exacting because of look like stuff is getting left out. I don't know. Let me see. Am I leaving stuff out? What it look like? It say because of. See, it look like it's leaving stuff out, but it's still interesting. Let's keep going. Now, what could that subject of Venus be so important in the sciences of the American Indian? So ethnic researchers were unfair in their presentation of the cultural beliefs of the American Indian to the planet Venus, because you cannot correctly calculate the speed of light without the dimensional factor found in the planet Venus. It takes no great effort to prove that the civilized scientific community of the world has not and cannot calibrate or calculate the speed of light. If the civilized world were to invent a component that functioned at the speed of light, remember the efficiency rating of such components are 70.7% as being perfect. To remove the margin of error, the component would have to function 1.5 times the speed of light. For the benefit of the doubt, let us say such a component come into existence. The impulse or ray sent to the sun would have to return in 16 minutes and 40 seconds with the sun at 93 million miles away, traveling 186,000 miles per second. It would return closer to 18 minutes, and the calculations would be below 176,741.53 miles per second. The computers function way below the speed of light and still have a 70.7% efficiency rating. So its working data can never exceed 50% of its capacity to cope with the margin of error, which is plagued with a term called bleeding. That is unpredictable, that now presents a new efficiency rating from 0 to 70.7. So the sciences of the civilized world function at 70.7% as perfect, providing nothing exceeds 50% of capacity. Well, I mentioned 70% earlier. Let us lengthen the benefit of doubt and say they invented a camera that can do it. At present, the civilized community operates for any type of instrument or component, the Geneva and Ventura movement. The Geneva is widely used and can be counted on to function correctly, but for speed. You may get 0 to 60 with a Porsche in 4 seconds, but that's it. The movement, when it goes beyond its 50% capacity, decreasing velocity ratios for energy used to power create to where it becomes its own destruct mechanism. As for the Ventura movement, the civilized scientific community knows little about it, and it is used on very primitive basis. They've yet to find a way to make it to do 2 functions. It is used only in rockets for the burning of huge quantities of fuel to overcome a weight problem, and is very unpredictable. There are nowhere near unlocking, reflecting time as fuel, or what they call antimatter. But getting back to this new camera, this new movement would produce film that will wrap around the Earth 7.4773539 times. How would it be stored? How long would it take to develop it? How much would it cost? Wherefore or therefore, the mathematical figure used by the world civilized community on the speed of light was taken from a translation on ancient writings, because the civilized world had neither the capacity or capabilities to do it themselves, which I will show and prove. The figure of 186,000 miles per second by itself is a conclusion from 3 different ancient sciences that anyone would have come across as calculating the speed of light. To dogmatically state scientifically that light travels 186,000 miles per second and leave out the different colors, travel faster and slower than this figure. The gravity travels at 1.737181 times faster than the speed of Earth in orbit, yet they come from the same source that created them. From the days of Julius Caesar to the present time, antiquity and anthropology, ancient written records, which include those taken from the Indian of the Americas, all agree in the scientific conclusions on the subject of the speed of light. The difference between the ancients and civilized conclusions is in the name of the subject. The ancients called the conclusion the speed of time under a manifestation. The civilized simply call it the speed of light. Why? Because scientifically, the manifestation requires a scholar or a scientist to present detail on how conclusion was arrived at. In the field of civilized electronics, it is considered correct and proper to write theory as follows. It is assumed that light travels at 186,000 miles per second. In a layman's language, one is supposed the fact to be true. It is a little above a guess. At present, institution of higher learning teach that all light travels at 186,000 miles per second. It is dogmatic and not to question the ancient American Indian could not make such a broad and simple statement on the subject of light. They will be specific: sunlight or moonlight or space light. Each is different in mathematical formulas. Each require a different approach. This is where ethnic researchers got and built their religious concepts. The different Indians pray to the sun and the moon and the stars. So the subject is the speed of sunlight. Before one can be gone, one must know the cycle of time. The ancient equation has been in the possession of civilized man well over 2,034 years that research can certify. It can be proven that the time cycle and time equation has been used by the past and present nation leaders in a combined manner. History records these equations as being called the Great Neros. So among civilized learn, they are not new or mystery, and had they been used properly, there would be no need for this paper. It can be proven that well over 100 million Indians were killed or murdered because it was alleged they prayed and believed in the Great Serpent. I personally believe in the Great Serpent, but I don't pray to it. Whoever heard of the people that prayed to a mathematical formula? I believe it was Julius Caesar that translated this. He figured out 181 parts to be round of a calendar year. 181 divided by 12 equal 15 and a half atoms. So 3,000 time cycle divided by 15.08333 equal 195.89503 years. 198.89503 years divided by 2 equal 99 years, 163 days, 8 hours, 8 minutes. 52 seconds was the cycle of time. No wonder scientists have been unable to present a formula on how to calculate the speed of light. He threw away the working tools. Common sense would tell you to calculate time for 99 years proves the working scientific formulas were in primitive state, so they wouldn't be working on time. The American Indian time walker doesn't take years but minutes to walk from sunrise to sunset, having traveled from west to the east and back again. So we're dealing in minutes. The time walker doesn't walk on light but time. So he must know when they are separated. And to know this, he must know the speed of light, the true speed of light, and not the assumption. Let's call the 181 parts the equation. 181 minus half atoms, or 15 and a half atoms. This is just like Julius Caesar had it, so nobody can get confused. Wow. It's gonna get real great in a minute, but I gotta cover all this. 181 12 atoms is the formula of the ancient equivalent to a civilized 24-hour Earth day. If we take 24 hours times 60, equal 1440 minutes. 181 equals 7.9558011 minutes. It takes the light of the sun to reach Earth with the sun at 93 million miles away. For this reason, you will always find Indian buildings to calculate the shortest and longest days of the year. Indian buildings, that's critical because he's saying Indian buildings, but he's going to connect this all. The longest to synchronize time from the sun, the universe, and the shortest to synchronize the bone without immediate solar system. Let's see if this 7.9558011 minutes is right or within the ballpark. 3,000 divided 15.083333 equal 198.89503 divided by 200 equal 0.994475, 15%. 24 hours x 99447515 equals 23.86744 hours. 24 hours minus 23 minus 867404 hours equal 0.132596 x 60 equal 7.95576 minutes. 3.000 minus 15.083333 equal 198.89503 days. 200 minus 198.89503 equal 1.10497 days. 1.10497 times 24 times 60 equal 1591.1568 minutes divided by 200 equal 7.95578 minutes. We're in the ballpark. Let's use the same 7.955801 minutes. 93,000 miles divided by that 7.955 8,011 times 60, 194,826.39 miles per second, the speed of light. So there you have it. Indigenous Americans calculated the speed of light, not Africans. Boy, have we got us different here. The ancient calculation conclusions that the speed of light travels 194,000 miles, 826.39 miles per second, while the civilized concluded it to be 186 per second. Someone has to be in error. Which one? Could it be that they both are right? Yes. Only the ancients formula has not been completed. It still requires 3 additional steps of mathematicians, and it is 3 steps that to prove the civilized figure 186 miles per second was taken from the ancient records and calculations. Just where is the difference hidden, or what still has to be considered the problem? Keep in mind that a tribal society has a lifestyle that interlinks all social religion, sciences, and rituals as one continuous logic systems, or they cannot be separated. The 7.9558011 minutes as a science goes directly into the social order with the formula that gives the rule for social graces, which then can go into religion with the formula that tells how many creator expressions make a ritual, which also tells how many earth days make up one creator day, from which they can give you the exact time and days, minutes, and seconds it took the creator, great spirit, and world maker to make the world as we know it, or what ethnic researchers tell of mythology to the story of creation. A faith in a supreme being is an exact science to the Indian of the Americas, not some religious hocus pocus ritual. My ancient Indian grandmother stated when it went by the planet Venus, it changed over and started to age light. So the difference is when light started to age. Remember, American Indians teach that light is a byproduct of time, so it would have to age. Now, however, heard of light aging? Whoever heard of light aging? Okay. Find me an existence that doesn't age. Okay. What will cause light to age? My best guess would be the movement of the earth. Anything and everything that comes in contact with the earth becomes of its movement, ages, and time. My ancestors said it in mathematical formula, and until someone can take the same formula and find the error, I have to stay with it. While you're doing that, add to this problem. Time dimension is the age process. If it is an energy that can be changed, but until one learns how to change the energy, it separates us from being a supreme being, a God, a Lord, whatever, or even a spiritual person. Let's get an example of this concept. Your records, the Vero in Melbourne, man. Let's bring up the subject of petrification. It is known by the civilized scientific community that there is no known energy in existence that could cause petrification. The archaeology find of the Vero and Melbourne man from the Indian of the Americas has not changed in body structure, living habits, cooking and foods, lifestyle since the beginning of alleged time, so they cannot be included in Darwin's theory of evolution. The American Indian tells of legends to the Great Migration and its prophecies. This state is actually an ice age. According to prophecies, it will be an Indian group that will trigger the coming migration or ice age for one reason. Civilized man will, by his lifestyle, destroy the earth as a planet in our solar system. If the Indian does not trigger it, who can deny this? According to legends and traditional teachings, it will be done by song and dance, which is to change the energy of the time dimension. Song and dance. Wow. The American Negro, the American Indian, song and dance. But getting back to the aging of light, let's find out the distance the Earth travels in orbit around the sun. It's simple math. 93 million miles times 2 times pi equal 584,335, 740 miles. Takes the Earth 365.2408333 days to make this trip, which comes to 1,599, 864.2 miles per day, or 66,661.008 miles per hour, or 1,111.0168 miles per minute, or 18.516947 miles per second. This 18.516947 MPS will continue for 7.9558012 or 477.34087 seconds, equals is 8 comma 839.0289 miles per second lost through aging. True speed of light minus aging equals minus the aging equals 185, 987.36 miles per second after light has aged or after the three-dimensional change caused by planet Venus, which was the whole prerequisite of understanding observation deity, God deity. It was the whole prerequisite of proving the indigenous American did have language and did have a concept of God or the great serpent. So this is great information to know. This is our calculations versus the civilized world. So the 186,000 miles per second is rounded off figure taken from the records of the ancient tribe. Here's the speed of time and the sun pouring out, right? Here's Mercury, Venus up there, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, which is going to it's kind of, I don't know if it's a swirl or river of light, because it's going to kind of hard to explain the flat Earth now. So let's go. There it is, concept of it, but you have collected them from all over the world since the days of Julius Caesar to present. You call it the serpent, the serpentine, or the coil. I call it the time equation. There is no excuse for you not to know the speed of time. This drawing, or whatever you call it, cost the lives of thousands of Indian tribes and over 100 million Indian lives. This one drawing right here that y'all seeing, the spiral of time and how the American indigenous people viewed the sun and the planet surrounding it. This cost them their life back then because they wanted a monopoly on time. Let's keep reading. In this drawing, they represented a concept found in all ancient writings that presents the conflict to the source of possibility of where the civilized translated ancient records and then claimed their scientists calculated the speed of light. Because with the so-called drawings of the serpents wrote the writings that identified as the time cycle, I gave the computations on how to calculate this cycle. No, all ancient cultures are the same, and the only difference that can be found is in a change to the method of writing, the spoken language, and how to calculate the orbits of the moon according to the location on the earth. All legends state that this earth language was handed down from the Creator, Great Spirit. If you want to expand this socially, song and dance are also different, but the reason for the rituals is the same. The sciences are the same, with the differences being in the civilized translator. Now that the time cycle, or the great serpent, however you best identify it, and its computations have been in existence by the civilized for well over 2,034 years. The best and most used is the one by Julius Caesar, see page 10, who considered it part of everyday life to destroy any and all Aboriginal tribes and nations, but keep the records to their sciences. History records that he was well known for firing or killing scholars who could not translate it passages he wanted. The most famous of these was on the planet Jupiter. The thorn in his side was an ancient head clan mother who forced the Roman Empire to honor a treaty that was over 1,000 years old. A copy of this treaty sits in Central Park, New York City, called Cleopatra's Needle. The Roman Empire, upset over having to honor this treaty from the Cleopatra tribe, now placed this clan's mother, twin brother, in power because she would not give Caesar the knowledge to these sciences for power. She used them against the Romans' armies and implements of war for 2 years till Caesar's agent, Mark Antony, was able to find the one day show she could not use this ancient knowledge because she had to rededicate herself to the Creator, Great Spirit, by ritual. Mark Antony did report to Caesar that this would be an after the death of the head clan of the Cleopatra tribe. Her 2 children, fathered by Mark Antony, were also killed because civilized law state that any ancient who can use these powers must be destroyed along with any descendants. So this clan mother of the Cleopatra tribe knew if she gave this knowledge to Caesar, she would still die. Next, show that theories on time of the great serpent have been around a long time. We have Nero of the Roman Empire who called a certain calculation the Great Neros, the great serpent with the firstborn and time walker clan equations. So the serpent also gives the equations for the firstborn, clan mother, medicine, time walker, elders, and prophets. The age of an ancient, which is shown in hundreds of years, is not to be construed as living that long in calendar years, but give rank in one's true age, which was known by Nero of the Roman Empire. To bring the argument up to date, an ancient having a conversation with a 32-second degree and up Mason, which I have had several, can give two debates to what you have read so far. American Indian traditional teaching state that 7.9558011 minutes that it takes lights to reach Earth must be multiplied by the number of days since the beginning of time or the ending of the last ice age, deducted from time in years, and you have true time to calculate from. The Masons disagree and state only one such day can be deducted. American Indian teaching states that 12 powers of time are seen in light, but they come from time. The Masons disagree and state that time is one continuous flow, and there are 18 powers to light that do not come from time. Remember, the Masons pray to the Great Spirit like the Indians, that any Bible scholar knows Osiris and Isis had it changed to the Lord God of Ezra. Of the Sandarin changed it again to Jehovah. In it, you can find the answers to the day length of the created day, the length of time, right down to the second of how long it took the creator to make the existence of Earth. Found in your creation stories, it's a clock, a calendar. It can be calculated by the planet arrangements, the age of our solar system and the universe, and still have time left to give you the 8 days in the ancient calendar that you can prophecy, and the creator will listen to your wishes. It can give you the equation of colors to creation, but its new function is to give the multiple and diversary primaries to the speed of time. But its real function, the true speed of light multiplied by its common denominator, equals the speed of time. Okay, individuals, all sciences, problem ancient, 12 powers of time. Scientists quench. Okay, scientists, Quinn, why do your people have song and dances and pray to the sun? We do not pray to the sun. We only give long established recognitions to the entities of the sun. Scientists, I'm glad you said that because we've discovered life on the sun. Not life as we know it and understand it, but a form of life. Let me explain. We believe and have watched entities that travel around the sun at great speeds. These speeds are so great that they either catch themselves or run into another. They can cause an echo, and it is these echoes that are the offspring. Now, I consider these echoes are the time echoes that travel to Earth and create the opposing force by bouncing off the Earth and return to the sun. But I've yet to find a traditional teacher that makes that statement, so I can't. I am not the master, but the student, and the student never overcomes the master. Let's begin on the opposing force. Time traveling from the sun to Earth is moving at the rate of speed of light at 194,826.39 miles per second times common denominator. 181 equals 35,263,577 miles per second, and it would take 2.6372821 seconds to reach Earth with the sun 93 million miles away. Electricity, magnetism, gravity, planet Venus, speculum, spectrum. Here's a graph of it, of the idea of the offspring of the echo energies around the sun that bounces off these energy photons or whatever, black, red, and green. This is why they have the black, red, and green flag. Let me break this down right quick. So as you can see, black, time traveling towards Earth, red, time is still traveling. Green, time has reflected off the earth. So new green represent the light reflecting off the earth. So this is the process of these sound and light waves that's bouncing off these planetary bodies like ping pong, like the gang ping pong, or the little, remember the gang? Not ping pong. The little game you pull the ball down. I forgot what it's called. You pull the ball and they go through the little maze or whatever. So let's keep going. This is a great example so far. When an ancient American Indian got to the time from the moon, they made the discoveries to the equations for human understanding, which are sought by every prophet of every religion throughout the world and every scholar and scientist of astrology. Like the time from the moon when compared to time from the sun, they also had a preferred direction, an opposing force per current or strand. It takes no great effort to understand why calendars with days, dates, and years, the zodiac, and astrology charts are moon influenced, because within the time from the moon and its opposing force, which automatically calculates the three rules of human prophecy for whomever is interested. Here's the 12 powers of time that created sunlight. So I believe he stated that light is the aftermath, right? So this is the process to get this echoing and glare of light that we're seeing, and the traveling of these particles and this mathematical rhythm. All right, I can't wait. So before I keep reading, I want to look up the Vero and the Melbourne man right quick. Let me see what that's all about. What is the Vero and Melbourne man? Vero and Melbourne man. Okay, this is in Vero Beach. Fossilized human bones of the Pleistocene dates range back to 2 million to 11,000 years ago. So they found some human bones that go back 2 million years. I don't know if that's older than Lucy. It might be. That might be older than Lucy. Okay, let's see what is the Melbourne. Okay, and Melbourne man. Melbourne man will be down there as well. So let's go back to the studies. I almost want to take a break because I've been reading for a minute, but I have not even got to the nitty gritty of the Time Walker, of how he's going to prove my point of the American slang, Mexican slang, Spanish slang, and how the Americans colonized Africa and in Europe. The Americans did. It's just been back and forth. It just seems like it's been a back and forth with these groups for the longest. All right, I'm back. I had to take a water break. Let's get back to business. I think it was right here. No, it's right here. Let's get right here. Let's get back to business. Because all this information is going to lead to the final conclusion of who we are in America and what they wanted from us. Okay. But the time currents strike Earth and bounce off and decelerate to 33,477,725 miles per second. In 0.1406844 seconds, the bouncing all time currents are now traveling in direct paths with the incoming time currents, which become the opposing force of creation, the opposite yin and yang. So the American indigenous figured this out. So I'm going to skip all this because he go into more. And even though we need to get every word when we're breaking this down, but let's just read this. Oh boy, now you're really getting it now. Like being in those Indian schools, standing at attention, like you hit a sore spot. It starts with universal time, UTO, sidereal time corrected to mean solar time, tropical year in ephemeroseconds, at atomic seconds, and Casium cycles, animalistic eclipse, Julian, Gregorian, and Besselian years, on to the moon, the sidereal and synodical months, and last but not least, the procession. Now that subject is really a trip all by itself. If one could quote the processional constant, geodetic, centennial, and the planetary processions by heart, you can fool anyone into believing you are a scholar. It will be several hours before you are permitted to speak again because everyone wants a piece of the ancient, and it does become any scholar runs out of phrases and words sooner or later. This stuff should scare anybody who is running around here acting like they are a scholar and know everything. And this is why a lot of people, show disdain to our people, because a lot of our people talk a lot and they don't have privy to this type of knowledge. Any closing argument for any ancient always goes back to the traditional and tribal custom of usage. You're presenting figures on visual dimensional light, which has nothing to do with time. The epitome of an ancient tribe lifestyle is gained to retain ancient sciences that they can successfully escape a global catastrophe while on a great migration. Translated to civilized concepts means to successfully travel through a global catastrophe that ends as an ice age without fear. The privilege of being a member to make this migration belongs to a privileged few who retain these knowledges. Yet, if one has to take a survey on Indians in the United States, 99% believe they will be among those making the journey, showing that it is in the teachings and lifestyles to note the difference between time and light. It's too critical if tribal rights are to be fulfilled. Any difference in these teachings on the subject violates tribal rights. An example could be used to show wrong teachings on these concepts, ending in death like the Vero and Melbourne man, because one did not survive the catastrophe. In northern China, near Peking, in the village of Shukutayin, 2 ice ages or 2 migrations back, found in caverns and fissures of rocks, bones of extinct animals and body remains of a European, Melanesian, and an Eskimo type in one close-knit group in a cave, all in a Chinese hillside. It can be assumed they tried to combine their knowledges so safely, escape the catastrophe, but failed. The Geology of China Lee, point 1939 was that source. It is known and it is well accepted fact that elite groups investing large sums of money have studied, traveled, and built small villages on exact spots of the last 5 American Indian migration trail. So the elites, like the ones who went down in that Titanic submarine, they know about all these prophecies and these migrations to kind of dodge the catastrophe when the earth cleanses itself. You see, so these elites are setting up camps on the last migration trails that tried to dodge the catastrophes. There's enough references and evidence around they can put together showing and concluding the capital cities of Indian empires have been destroyed and are below many large cities of the United States, because still another elite group, which I personally call the Cibola group, who are searching for the openings to the 7 golden cities or the 7 underground cities, which are known by legends to be places that American Indian stops and rests while on journey of the great Indian migration. Take every bowl, pipe, and wampum belt collected from Indian tribes. Even the modern ones made today, they are made by genetic inspiration on how to synchronize time. Even if the maker of Indian no longer knows the science that is now deep and long tribal teachings have been around, take a blind man and woman with enough sex acts, genetic inspiration will produce a blind-headed child. Take an American man or woman who are Indians. See that? American man or woman. Indians that meet an American Indian from any of the tribes that have enough sex acts, genetic inspiration will produce an Indian child. Find me a scientist with full knowledge to the DNA gene can prove it works for everybody except the Indian of the Americas. Then there will be no conflict. Until then, there is a conflict to the civilized oracles of the scientists and what I've been taught traditionally. All civilized scientists owe their beginning theories or theorems to primitive translations of ancient writings of the universe. The science or is called or named cosmogony, which has a direct line of communications to all other scientists. I know by personal contact with scientists from Jet Propulsion Lab, Pasadena to Los Alamos through the years that whenever there's a worker problem, the scientists make out a work order and receives through a computer every known piece of records information from the first day of contact to the present day on what the American Indian was known to say on the subject. After years back, I request information on Indian education. I received it the following day in quantity that I was almost ready to hire a large truck to take it home. I was told that it was only a minor run by the computer for 1 year, which contained only theorems along with the facts that were to be used by the educational systems on Indian students. It took 2 years to figure out what I had been given. If the United States has a drug problem, get one of these computer runs on Indian education and you will find out how it organized. It is maintained by the federal executive order supposedly for Indian students only, which does not reach them, and you know it cannot be defeated. It is part of the treaty stipulations on Indian education. Another of these theorems was a new professional classification given to teachers in public school teaching Indian students. This profession is called or named anecdotist, one who is a specialist in characterizing to describe or portray by qualities or peculiarities distinguishing or distinctive behaviors on Indian students. From personal knowledge, teachers are picking out Indian students who are the most quiet and who do not care to lead the rest of the class in play or projects. This concept was concluded from the occupation of Alcatraz. It is believed that this area where information need is, boy, are they in for a surprise. It is assumed that in this area, the knowledge of the universe and understood by the ancient is by genetics. If one is starting Alex von Humboldt's Cosmos by E.C. Adi and B.H. Paul, Ph.D. of Mexico Mystique by Waters, each can have their very own argument, but the decision is still made by the leaders of the civilized world. Have these nations applied the ancient scientific mathematical formulas to their nations? I'm referring to the separation of time and light. The answer is yes. To prove this, let's begin. A tribal ritual. Light is separated from time, which is synchronized to the universe. At an exact time, there is a song and dance. Prayer using the medicine wheel, prayer wheel, the Gal. Remember, Gal is another name for God. The secret rings of the prophet, which called the Olympic game rings, and the seat of the hand clan mother. The clan mother gives the rule of time, which is done as a chant. Then everyone stands around the fire to eat the ancient bread and pudding. Tradition teaches that at a given time, the sun will come up, but no light will be seen, and the stars can be seen all day long. The finger synchronization of time, the longer the duration, which has a capacity of 397 days, 0.7 days, or 2 great time serpents, all the way down to just hours. The days cannot be used in calendar time because there was no opposite force what would make a calendar day. All right, let's move on. Michael Adams. Let's move on from the calendar. Solar Day. The Beys. Dragon White Chief. Okay. Satan's Table. The Beast Religion say. We gonna skip all that. Prophet Medicine Clan. Yeah, he really gonna win. That's kind of one of the best parts. These people are geniuses. Now, this is the time wheel that we see with the Turks and the Mexicans. This is the time wheel. Okay. Chief Azagal, Hebrew scholar. White man. I need to read all that. ABC's church quadrants. The ancient records. Okay, let's go. Relationship. Okay, here it is right here. I'm gonna have to read all of this. Religion, righteousness, government, wounded knee, big deal. American Indian Religious Freedom Act. All right, let's start right here. For years, Indians have been asking me to research certain treaties that could not be found in any government archives. Yet they had prominent jurisdiction in all of North and South American countries without any type of paperwork. Even Felix Cohen's book, Federal Indian Law, which was written to terminate by providing legal loopholes for the governments to assume by ambiguous concepts jurisdictions for Indians and their lands without recourse, walked solely over the Pueblos and Ranchero communities. Pueblos and Ranchero. We're going to come back to them. Even today, after the Department of Interior did an extensive and expensive study, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo cannot be enforced because of prior treaties that identified the territories, yet the reading or showing of these treaties have yet to be seen or verified that they exist. They are called without any reference given for the names bishops, land, secular treaties, and Vatican treaties. I avoided these issues in the Indians because no treaty copy could be found. The Indians I spoke with know of the treaties that did identify their territories, which turned out to be hearsay. They had never seen any paperwork. No legal advisor likes to be caught in this situation because a legal advisor, you are challenging land title of a nation, and any mistaken means death without any recourse to a domestic court. So if you don't got that title, you're out. Who have no jurisdiction. In my earlier days, I received too many beatings and left for dead for a slight mistake, so you can't make error in that business. So you can't claim to be owning some land and being a part of this nation without a title. But one day this Indian group backed me into a corner by a statement. They were going to occupy some known bishop land even without my paperwork. Their deaths would mean blood on my hand and not theirs. All I had was the extensive and expensive paperwork of the Department of the Interior to work with, which gave in detail over 100 articles of these treaties. I was still researching when the Indian group arrived, who loaded me onto an old VW van with my research paper and typewriter. Started on the journey to the mission to be occupied. Because my research was not complete and what has done to be typed and duplicated before it could be used, it was 1 hour past the time for occupation, but it was presented. To me, the research shoulder presented questions that asked questions, demanded answers, because the jurisdiction was too exacting and too many countries were fulfilling the jurisdiction without any type of paperwork. The American Indian had a friend, a true friend that they had never heard of or even knew existed. Why? Because the existence of this friend had been completely erased from world history, not by accident, but by planned covert action. which makes all world history for a period of around 1,000 years in error and not correct. This unknown friend set the legal patterns for all world nations to deal with Indian tribes of nations of America. By establishing said rules, which would only come overcome by making the Indian believe he was something he was not. I'm speaking about making the Indian believe he is a citizen of a country other than his own. And this country had no provisions for him to become a citizen of this country. I believe such a friend existed, even when a reference on the lack of them gave no possibility of such existence, only that a possible individual might show up at a later date, because on March 11, 1972 at 4:10 p.m., I presented the Church of Rome to the Church of Rome through the missions in the state of California an Indian manifesto, and occupied one mission, which by proxy occupied not only the missions in Mexico, United States, but wherever secular treaties existed. The manifesto contained only 8 out of 100 articles of these treaties. Having personally studied and read over 300 Indian treaties, I knew that the U.S., Canada, Mexico, North and South American countries, France, England, Spain, Denmark, Norway never claimed close to the stipulations found in the secular treaties. So simple, logical deduction concluded that the authority of nations that discovered the Americas and signed treaties with their citizens did not belong to the family of civilized nations. I knew the period of time that this nation had to exist. Only there were no references that such a nation ever existed. It visited Indians, but it ruled the rest of the world for a period of 700 years, and this was the Moorish Empire. Wow, let it sting. Let it sting. I did all that reading. Yes, let it hurt. This is from your Native American interpreter who sent the manifesto to Spain, who understands that it's one friend that is erased from history called the Moorish Empire. Now, almost 12 years later from the date of the Indian Manifesto in 1984, I found the name of the individual that signed these treaties with Indians. To prove that no Indian has ever heard of and no historian has yet to place his existence in its proper place and time, I'll give you his name. Caliph Abdullah As-Sagal, last king of the Moorish Empire of Spain and ruled through 1491 AD, who sold his kingdom to Queen Isabella I in 1491 for $17 million. Remember King As-Sagal? Remember the king, the Red King Bermejo? Remember? Remember the Nasrid King El Chiquito? Let's go back. Hold on. Let's go back. We got some reading to do. Now, why is this name brought to light? Find me a treaty that covered the Pueblos and Rancheros with Spain or the Vatican, and we can put the name back to sleep. Why did the United States in this study state that Spain was subject to these Indian treaties? The alleged discovery of the Americas by Columbus was not a treaty. Cortez signed no treaties outside of the Treaty of Spain, which a land purchase took place with the United States for the state of Florida. Spain has signed no treaties with Indians since 1492. So what treaties is Spain subject to? Next, civilized recorded history contradicts itself on evidence. Listen, let's read that one more time, man. Wow, this is amazing. Spain has signed no treaties with Indians since 1492. So what treaties is Spain subject to in America? Next, civilized recorded history contradicts itself on evidence recorded on the subject of Columbus. In order to delete the name of Caliph Abdullah As-Sagal as the discoverer of Americas, and can prove it by the treaty signed with the Indians of the Americas, Spain, after the purchase of the nation from Zaghal, and after the return of Columbus from the Caribbean, Queen Isabella the first filed the Te Deum with the International Court in Hague on February 18, 1493, the reversing and ridding the earth of a union meridian. If it was recorded that Spain or the territories that make up what is now called Spain had to delete the original discovery of the America by Spain, and a new discovery entered, who was the original individual that discovered the Americas prior to Queen Isabella? Keep in mind, recorded facts cannot be disputed. Spain or Spanish people did not drive the Moors out of their alleged country, as stated by N.Y.G. Sheikdom in his book, The Arabic Language, Its Role in History. As he put it, after the fall of Granada in 1492, it was a territory purchased between two royal families, Caliph Abdullah Azagal and Queen Isabella I, for $17 million. In the year 1491, a legal procedure no different than the Treaty of Louisiana and Florida, which were land purchases only. If Pueblos and rancheros have territories by treaties and no linguist can translate them, what language was they written in? If the so-called royalty language of Spain and Castilian, which is made up of over 6,000 Arabic words and the rest from Latin, who are the Spaniards and where do they descend from? Why, when Pueblos of New Mexico having treaties in an unknown language that they cannot translate, when my name was thrown in, one could help in the translation. Overnight, it was made a closed issue of reference, no longer open for review. Hey, I'm no longer an expert. This dumb Sioux boy from the plains of South Dakota almost speak the English language. I hate languages. I avoid them like a plague. Just because I was able to prove that there is no language expert that can properly translate the Song of St. John the Divine and the Prayer of Atlantis doesn't make me an expert. If I don't know a subject, all one does is sit down and learn it. Just because I'm not a historian doesn't mean I can't sit down, learn it, and rewrite it, especially when one can find facts that have no truth but are made to look like the truth. Look at a fact. Queen Isabella I purchased Spain from Azagal, which included 3,000 warships for $17 million. But we know it didn't conclude the advanced weapons of the Moors because England defeated Spain with only 35 ships. Come on now, Spain had 86 ships that could ram each English ship and sink it without firing a shot. How did Spain lose? Each English ship would have had to carry enough warfare to sink 86 ships apiece. Not even the ships today can carry that much buckshot. That's why there had to be a prior agreement that made it look like Spain lost the confrontation. Why? If you study the Indian Manifesto, which only 8 articles, and there are only 100 articles, Spain cannot meet the financial burden of these treaties with Indians, and neither could all of the rest of the new civilized nations. The Moors did. I can locate to this day over 200 pueblos that used to exist in Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona that Spain had to maintain a population and an army for each pueblo that was to be protected from aggression by foreign power, plus the articles and the manifestations and more. But Spain was not only nations that had treaties with the Indians of America. Norway, Holland, Denmark, Austria, just to name a few, had secular treaties. These were taken over by France and England because of long-established rights. Before the Moorish conquest, Spain, France, and England were part of the old Roman Empire, with Roman descendants ruling these countries. With civilized people now having bought back their territories, the old ranks will continue on. But the Moors had created another world power because they were still in part an ancient culture where the lifestyle all interlinked. So the empire had to set aside citizens whose jobs it was to take care of international business, much like the empire of Israelites who set aside the Hebrews to do this business. The powers was the Vatican of Rome, who could no longer be in the religious business because the Moors already had their corporate state of religion. From this came the secular treaties, or the Vatican treaties, in which the Vatican became a third party to these Moorish treaties. After the civilized had bought back their land titles, and the Moors, who kept that international law or laws of the nation letters perfect, which was created long before the old Greek Empire, those treaties of the Indian of the Americas had to continue on under the new nations, which gave the continued power to the Vatican, whose obligation was to fulfill the stipulation. From this was born the concept church and state rule. For this reason, the Indian manifestation was given a representative of Rome which were the missions in the state of California. That was their representatives to Rome doing those missions, y'all. They gave it to you in a raw. The actual occupation of the mission in 1972 brought representatives from the Vatican mission officials could not have occupying Indians collect, so they paid for the service of the sellouts, which was actually under international law. The pirate clause that encompasses freebooters and dragoons, because the sellouts were not white, they fall under dragoons. Remember the dragoon militias to take over the occupation, so there would be no collection at this time in history. For a very good reason, because the Psychic Manifesto would have made the occupying Indians the richest in the world due to the encompassing of the largest banking, financial, transportation organizations in the world, the largest computer companies, war contracts, and conglomerate universities and colleges in the world. The total conglomerates of the major and diversified corporations on the worksheet staggers human imaginations, many with names that are common to every household in the world. And one was able to combine General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler conglomerates together on comparative basis. These car companies would be a small store in the country. These world corporation holdings gained through articles of Indian secular treaties, which belongs to the Indians, are more than tenfold larger than all territories, land, churches, missions, and ranchero holdings in the world. It can be easily assumed the reason mission authorities could not help occupying Indians collect because to surrender that amount of wealth that staggers human imagination, greed invented it. Each Indian received a small sum to leave and go home. The dragoons were paid $10,000 each, but I received nothing to this day. Okay, let's go to this highlight. Even the language spoken by the people of Spain under the Moors has been taken off the face of the earth. In short, any language that will give a clue to what these American Indian treaties stated and stipulations, to really understand this term and what it functions, you must know the Inquisition was former tribunal of the Roman Catholic Church appointed to examine and punish heretic. This had nothing to do with religion because the Vatican at that time history was a corporate state fulfilling treaty obligations through international law. The success or failure of the Inquisition would make or not make the Vatican a corporate state of religion. So heretics were some kind of international law violators. Even secular treaties of the Vatican has nothing to do with religion, right? So none of this had nothing to do with religion. So hearsay is translated to mean a religious or doctrinal belief contrary to those of established body of authority. Heretic means anyone who maintained this belief. From Inquisition came a judicial order aided by jury into a matter of death, possibly resulting from a crime. Now, what was the crime charge? It took over 16 years of research to find a crime or proof that it was a crime because it has always been known that to a known certain language was a crime. But what language? After reading books and books on the history of languages, I hate language. It was found in the book that the Arabic or Moorish language is role in history. The Arabic language forbidden in any shape or form by the inquisitors. So the Inquisition was about destroying the Moorish language. Then why was the Christian Bible permitted to remain? Because all it is a translation of written writings from the Arabic language. Oh, the Arabic language was spoken all over the world, including the lands of the Indian of the Americas. No wonder 100 million Indians had to die because they could speak Arabic. These are the American Indians admitting. That's why we have the Indian groups under Dan Calloway and Al Power trying to, in Hawk School, trying to incorporate Arabic because they understand the natives spoke this language, which was a international language of the Moors, or called Maghrebic. You see how they're all trying to clean up on why we're speaking this language and why the Moorish is here? You understand that? But they don't understand Moorish is documented. It is not just something we made up or a exonym like Name Calloway teach. That's why we teach y'all they are agents. This is exactly why we teach you not to follow Dan Calloway, because all of them teach more as an exonym or it's a derogatory description. That's right. I'm going to ask another question. We already know it won't be on language because that's settled. Think this one out. Play with it for a while because the answer puts to sleep many costly archaeological and anthropology studies by making them stupid. And the reason that the answers have always been available in which the world's elite scientists and putting together past man's puzzle history would be exposed. The reason for the Inquisition, the question, why did the members of the old Moorish Empire whose descendants had suffered as slaves, not only under the Romans, but Greek rule also, defeated the civilized Roman members of that empire without any mercy, permitted the Indian of the Americas to have the treaties that presented the legal concept that they won the wars. Play with it. No scholar or scientist or ethnic researcher can dispute it. The study made by the Department of Interior on the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo territories showed that the Indian had the ruling force. Why? How could a culture and an empire who didn't believe in wars implement a war of mind control and police action defeat the mighty Moorish Empire without raising a finger? I don't care what has been written in the past because too much was hidden. So such untruths could be told and make everyone believe it. If you are an antiquity or anthropology scholar, there is printed matter that gives the answer. All right, let's go. So it's about the language. Do I want to read all this? It would be neat. It would be neat. Let me see. Moorish king, the date, Caesar Borgia Caliph, the man Genghis Khan. I should go through all this. And then in the video, let me see if I can get the pic though. At least get the picture. Morocco, Mediterranean. Okay, let's at least get the pic. It's a lot of reading. I might have to just do the part 2. I thought I was game to read all this. All right, it was page 91. Okay, here it is right here. Here go the protective armies of the Pueblo. So I think I can read to this. I can do it. Here's the mound fortresses that I want to show y'all that look like those Ayanta cave paintings and the Aztec. I mean, this dude he go into robotics and everything, how they got all of this from the American indigenous people who ruled these lands right here. I mean, he goes in. The original Aboriginal tribe of the white race. Why was the Moorish race wiped out? Because the original white man, the original Aboriginal tribe of the white race. Because white meant God, not the pale people. I think I want to go and read this. Because this is a powerhouse video. This is a powerhouse video. Put it all together. Yeah, I'm going to go and put all this in here. All right, is this it right here? Yeah, this it. Yeah, I can knock this out. It's like 10 pages. Okay. This is the way I see it. So get ready. This is the end, y'all. I'm putting it all in one video. If one can imagine to see an aged-old looking pirate from the 1800s with a bandana wrapped around his eyes, with a patch over one eye, one wooden stub for a leg that needs replacement as a crutch and a cane, you got to put a good idea of what this author looks like, who's an American Indian, home and retired from 20 years of white man wars fighting over Indian rights. There is no decorations or license plates I can put on the car for being a political prisoner as the United States for 31 months. But the stories I can tell from the bush make you wonder what planet you were on. Believe me, I know that Geronimo felt like, who was a political prisoner of the United States for 20 years and died that way, and never had a visitor from his family of the Apache tribe who originally asked the United States to put him there, and today enjoy the rights he fought for, put his picture all over the walls. Few, if any, civilized world historians, past or present, likes to be reminded of the event where all Aboriginal tribes throughout the world banded together under common cause, who suffered as a slave labor, with no rights, only under Roman but Greek rule for 1,000 years. So let's go. Let's get all of this. 370-410 at the close of the 3rd and the beginning of the 4th century, Saxon, Anglia, Mercia, the Northumbrian tribes conquered Rome, England, France, and Spain. it was a dragon or chief Alaric conquered and sacked Rome. If one was to wonder why England has an undying hate for Germany, remember it was these German tribes that conquered them. Chief or King Attila of the Huns conquered remaining European and Asian countries. 708, 814, Dragon Charlemagne. Charles was also the emperor of the Vatican, dealing in international law. 775, 839, Dragon or Chief Egbert I for England. Dragon is a term for white European chief, or what Indians called their leaders who were elected by clan mothers. 849, 901, Dragon Albert, first Saxon chief. Dragon Harold II, the last chief. 1122, 1204, clan mother Eleanor of Aquitaine of France. That's an American Indian woman. Dragon Frederick of France, also emperor of Vatican, dealing in international law. 1162, 1227, Genghis Khan, conqueror of Europe and Asia. 1166, Dragon John of England, who wrote the Magna Carta, establishing human rights. 1214 through 94, Kublai Khan, Mongol of China. 1300 to the 1919, Ottoman Empire by Turks. The Ottomans. Wow. The beginning can be linked to the purchasing of civilized territories for the descendants of the old Roman Empire to back into power, including the last purchase made by Queen Isabella, taking $17 million for that purchase. The last Moorish kings that signed treaties with the Indians of Americas. 1337, Dragon Charles V of France. 1420, Thomas de Torquemada, who later became an official of the Vatican. Okay, cipher used by Bouverin, Columbus signature among the legacies. A Jew who lived. Okay, the legacies by the Vatican. Among the legacy, the Jew who used to live at the Gate Jury in Lisbon. All right, Chief Abdullah, clan mother Mary. This is what I wanted to read. Let's start right here. Gregory, who became Pope Gregory, who invented the Gregorian calendar, which helped hide the Indian treaties, which were dated in Julian and Indian calendar years, 1502, 1542, 1587. Clan mother Mary of the Scots, beheaded. Note, what civilized historian called queen were not queens because they were following ancient women of authority of a tribe. If we taken Judge Urban of Court History, United States versus Consolidated Wounded Niece, the counterpart to an Indian clan mother was Cassis or Mrs., but this does not match up with the eternal flame that the white clan mothers were to take turns keeping the flame burning forever from the treaty, the Palladium of Troy. They were Vestal virgins. 15,000 of them were slaughtered in the 1500s, which closed down the flame to the treaty Palladium of Troy. Wow, that's deep. We have enough to piece together modern history for the American Indians that will show how 100 million Indians died because they spoke a second language. This second language would translate their treaties, which I believe is Nashki script or Nasrid, Red Nash, or coffee. Coffee is for the black. Nash red is for the green. Nash red is for the red. And Arabic is for the green. What we call Arabic. Secular treaties had nothing to do with religion. It dealt with the sciences of all cultures. Hearsay, we can skip all that because we read about pretty much all of that. Columbus was armed with accurate maps of the area given to him by Genoese at the Vatican. The New Dark Ages Conspiracy, Carol White, New Benjamin. Such maps came from the scholars of the Moorish Empire, such as Ibn Jubayr, Al-Kalkashandi, encyclopedias. The Arabic language is Role in History by Shane Supra. Okay, returns to Spain. On May 14, 1493, the Vatican issues a papal bull to Portugal stating that the territory west of the Azores is the lost continent of Atlantis and it belongs to Portugal. That's why we see Gullah Geechee Africans on the East Coast. They are the first contact African mixed people who started trying to penetrate us. They know America is Atlantis is in their paperwork. Do you understand us? That's why you have French, Spanish, Creole, Gullah Geechee people. The Vatican can now give all its attention to the European people. It creates the court of inquisition. There's no pope. So Monk Thomas, de Torquemada, is made head of these courts. Hundreds of millions of people are either beheaded, burned at the stake, hung for knowing about Arabic language, Moorish Empire treaty with Indians. That is scary stuff. That is scary. 1503-06, the Vatican is satisfied that the knowledge to the old Moorish Empire is no longer known by the civilized European nations. Giuliano della Rovere becomes Pope Julius. Abdullah Azaghal has been executed, so the existence that signed treaties with the Indian of the Americas does not exist. Monk Thomas de Torquemada is dead. Queen Isabella would die of unknown causes in 1504, as will Columbus die of the same causes in 1506, which knew he would. Rome's Vatican Pope Julius II has sent young Italian military religious leader Caesar Borgia to the Indian lands to get all the trade agreements and treaties that Azaghal signed with the Indians. Young Borgia's return later gives the requested documents to Pope Julius. 1507, but it is rumored that 6 of these Indian documents have been seen in Europe. It is the same documents that modern anarchists have tried to make the world believe there was some kind of American Indian religious writings. Young Caesar Borgia believes he is about to be murdered for possessing these documents, so he secretly passes them on to his younger sister Lucretia Borgia. When Caesar Borgia dies at the age of 31, Pope Julius has little luck in trying to prove the rumors are true or false. He is relieved of his office by dying. This same year, Giovanni de' Medici becomes Pope Leo X, picks up the rumor that is stated to contain the signature Abdullah Azaghal when he was king of Spain. If such documents do exist, they must be found before any confrontation can take place against the Indians. Meanwhile, 1519, Maiden Borgia, who was much sought out the documents and is in fear for her life, finally meets and talks with a relative who became a monk in a Roman church. An agreement is reached where Maiden Borgia return over these Indian documents to the monks in exchange for her life. Wow, the monk has Maiden Borgia arrested, then takes the documents to the Pope, who has Maiden Borgia put to death. She still got put to death. 1519, civilized history records these documents to be named the Borgia Codex. Have y'all looked it up? Let's go and look it up. It is the Native Americans or the American Indians saying that the Codex itself is a peace treaty. Remember the Moor got hung on the Borgia Codex? Borgia Codex and the Teleramis. Remember the Christian is getting hung, or the Moor Morisco is getting hung in the Codex. And it's a lot of brown people. So here's the Borgia. Codex Borgia. You see the fez and the all-seeing eye. You see the time cycle on the eyes on his back. The real wise ones. Okay, let's go back. We'll go over that later. Okay. Which came into the hands of Cardinal Stefano Borgia, for whom it is named, and his death became the property of the Library of the Vatican, where it now reposes. Pope Leo X now assumes communicator Hernando Cortez to invade the Indian territories. So they're literally invading to hide Moorish language in America, y'all. That's what this whole Inquisition is about. To destroy any indigenous person in America who speak that language and who got titles in that language. So if you got a title in that language for your land patent, they're destroying you because you can prove you're there. So that's why we always tell you there's no land patents in English. There's no English land patents because the Indians had a different language. Now, needed to possess the lands free of any stipulations because all trade agreements and treaties are in his possession. Cortez invades the territories on April 21st, 1519, as a pirate or freebooter. All the Indian tribes that were part of the trade agreement and the treaties with the Moorish Empire that could speak Arabic had been deleted, including the Indian Moorish capital of Mora, New Mexico. But what did Cortez call the Indians of America? What word was used that identified these citizens who had treaties? According to the medieval Latin, they were called Americos. And from this same forbidding language, they were identified to have teachings at the grassroots level, scientific study of written records, especially literary works to determine their meanings. So I literally did all that reading to debunk Brother Abdullah Bey earlier, who was looking all flabbergasted, that the Indians are literally called Americans. That's their name. They are not Indians. They are called Americos. So our American lingo and language is what we speak. And that's exactly what the Nasrid kings was speaking. El Chiquito and Bermejo, right? Do you understand what I did here, y'all? I did all that learning. This was supreme learning to show that Brother Abdullah Bey, he think he know everything and he don't know nothing at all. You can tell by his facial characteristics, the way his facial language, his body language. He thought he knew something and he didn't know nothing. He proved nothing. They literally called the Americas. That is what the Indians are called. Anybody who has the Moorish language are called Americas. So that means you cannot be an American unless you are a Moorish. So let's keep going. Americas from this forbidden language. It was discovered that the Indians had their spiritual writings to the concept of Angelicus and Angelotus. They had concept of Anthropochitus, Anthropomorphita, Anthropomorphus, Anthropos, Pathos, and Anthropos. And from this came another medieval word, Antiquus, which was translated to mean ancient of long ago, long before the discovery of Aristotle's analytic and topics, which only the science in the civilized world needed to make or translate spiritual writings into a book that is known as the Christian Bible. Wow, the American Indians really freed us up. So I guess I'm going to do a part 2 on this. This would be a nice part 2. I ain't going to lie. I don't want to spoil this greatness. I'm not going to spoil this greatness. It's definitely going to be a part 2. Right? We're going to start right on that page and go into the Moors. And I'm going to show y'all who those Moors was in America, the top hats. They were called the top hats or the tall hat. The top hats and the tall hats. The tall sticks. I'm gonna show y'all the white race was not white people. They're literally still in our status by calling themselves white. Every time they pull you over in your car and call you a black, at that point they're stealing from you. This war is realer than you know. And that's what Noble Joe Ali was preparing you for. And the other master teachers out there who understand it's a racial conflict with these people suppressing you and trying to rule over you any way they can. It is a spiritual and mental war. And I just brought you the raw information. So I stopped the session. I'm going to do a part 2. It's well worthy. I'm going to call it part 2. I don't do videos like this over here on this channel, right? Because I'm doing maintenance on my new channel I'm not going to go back live over there till I have a website. I've already said it. Till I have a working website, I am not going back over there. So I did this for y'all to let y'all know it's so much confusion in the Moorish community with some of these characters that's really disguised black supremacists. They're bringing that black supremacy, African supremacy into the red coppery race. We are naturally different from these black supremacists who believe everything comes from black and that more mean black. We don't teach that. We don't teach that. We definitely don't teach that. We believe you come out any color of the spectrum, any color you can come out, but you will still have your your God body, you'll still have that look with any color. So we just call them moros, murus, reddish brown to dark. But anyway, yeah, I told him, I showed y'all the Miro district and why it got its name of Nashville and the Nashki script and the Kufi script, which is the Black Mother script, right? And the Red Mother, and then you have the Light Mother because it's three mothers, right? And the creation story is three mothers, right? And one being Korah, right? I can go and get their names right now. I don't feel like it, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So the American Indian has situated the Moors are the friends of them that they never knew they had, because the peace treaties with the Moorish Empire that the Indians had is in this language that is forbidden, showing you what your land title should be in. You should have some Arabic cursive script. You should have some type of hieratic cursive writing that they're going to try to say is Latin, which is fake, because Latin is not cursive. Latin is not cursive. Latin is actually Roman numerals, right? Latin is not cursive. Let's go and see if Latin is cursive. See if there's a we'll see if there's a Latin cursive. Latin cursive. Here, Latin cursive or Roman cursive. Right here it is, right here, which is the snake script, aka not Welsh. This is not Welsh. This is right to left. This would be what would this be? 4th century Kingdom of Moors. Just look left to right. Greek, okay. What would this be? Claudius. Okay. Germanicus. Clovis. Caligula, right. Caligula. Right. I remember I read about this. So this would be early American as well. This would be early American script. Demotic. Here it is right here. Demotic. Vandolanda. Right, man. Okay, let me show the people that. Y'all need to see that before I leave. Y'all waited this long. Let's go and get that image. You see the scripts, old Roman, that I looked up for Latin. You see it. Old Latin. Cursive script. So you should have some type of land pattern that look like that. Not in no English. You understand me? That how they're trying to trick y'all because they don't want you to have any Arabic seasoning, Egyptian seasoning. They want to water you down all the way down, because one mistake could ruin this big scam of them stealing American indigenous land, rewriting everything to a T. But we got them. Everybody got them but you. The whole world has proved the European so-called white man is caught red-handed. The only people to wake up are the American brown Negro people. They are the only people still asleep to this on who they really is. Everybody know it was the Moorish. That is your only way out of this jam, is what Noble Drew Ali brought. And we have a relationship with the Canaanites, the Moabites and the Canaanites to this day, to learn how to love instead of hate, so we won't have to go through this no more. Our fighting is what led the Europeans over here. And if we did get along, red and brown or red and black, we would easily expel this evil force. So I'm coming with the part 2. I hope y'all appreciate all that reading. It's a lot more reading than I thought, and I'm gonna come with that. So y'all represent the game and thumb up the video, and make sure you put this, in your to-do list. So to watch this video and get ready for the part 2, right? So A lot of changes is popping up, coming up, man. This is my year to ball out and lead. I know it. Nobody can really, compare to me with this delivery of this research and comprehensive interpretation. Nobody is good like me besides T Calico, but he don't specialize what I specialize in the Red Kings and the Red America. So I'm giving y'all a new eyelet on what we was doing in America with red, brown, black, white, olive, these different groups where we racially segregated and we had names for ourselves. So we are a reddish people. We are a brown people, a black people. And we have a marriage with these people. So I want you to recognize your Americanness, your indigenous Americanness, instead of following after Abdullah Bey and Muslims from Africa, Hawk School, a Muslim from Africa, Tariq Bey, Taharka Bey. All of these are African. Sabir Bey, African. Tariq Nasheed, African. All these have an African state of mind. They don't have no concept of mound building in America. Why we built these mound fortresses. You understand me? How we connect with South America thousands of years. North and South. Distinct from the rest of the world. The Atlanteans. The outlandish. The outliers. The Highlanders. Just the different people. Yeah, we have the language of the Arabian Moors because they were the rulers for the world for 700 straight years. They ruled the world. So we have the documentations and the correspondences with these people, the indigenous. That's why we're Moorish. That is our relationship with the Moorish, because if we have the peace treaties and the language with the Moors, but we ignore the Moors, then we have no proof. We have no proof we exist. So we have to accept our marriage with the Moors in these treaties in order to exist, because they are the only proof we have that this white man and this beast and this African king, they're trying to conquer us off this planet. And I'm pleading with y'all to wake up to this information that I put out today, because this is the new way to put it and to see it, to put yourself into the caliphate, to put yourself into the sultana, and the Emirs, right? And the Moorises, and the family clans that was business people in Mecca. You want to put yourself back into that light. This is the new way, because we are not African. We were not brought here. We did not have African warriors. We didn't have none of that. Zulu means blue. That's all Zulu means. We were not Zulus. Azulis is a place in Mexico. Bowing down to a rock in Mecca is an abomination to our great ancestor, our great ancestor, and the timeless elders, old ones and the young ones. It is an abomination to me. It is an abomination to our ancestors. We do not pray to a rock in Mecca. You understand me? You have been tricked on every angle. That goes for your Moorish teacher, your Muslim teacher, your Hebrew teacher. They sound very good and they have half-truths, but they are not accurately teaching you America's role in calculating the speed of light, robotics, electronics, industrializing agriculture. That is all American. We deserve all of this credit, but they give it to the white man, so nobody want to celebrate it. The rest of the world forget that it is us. But it's your chance right now today to stand up and claim that, because you're not being punished no more. The curse is up. You can be seen by the world and represent yourself by your Father, God, our Lord and Savior, our Lord and Savior. I did this for y'all, and I'm going to do a part 2 to seal the deal and seal the fate and putting this information out so us of the red race, the copper race, can finally have our seat at the table and our proper place in heaven. That's correct. I did that for the red race. The red race. So like I say, I'm up out of here. I love y'all. And I do this for the American Mississippians who they're stealing from, who are they hiding, suppressing us because our language and our affiliation with Moorish. And I tell you time and time again, what's a soldier without a foe? Life would not be fun. It would not be worth living if we didn't have to be the ones to come from the bottom to the top. The fact that we have to crawl and kick and claw our way back to the top gives us the experience and the repetitive exercise know-how to even deal with these beasts. So I'm grateful to be the one to go through all of this and rise to the occasion to bring the glory back to my people and my land. Islam to you. No.
Yeah. 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 Let's go. Let's go. 7-11 shit. Sending no habit. One body, 2 kids be missing 4 sticks hit. Hey, Red.